emergency crews, but it's not clear yet if that person witnessed the crash or had only seen the burning SUV following the impact.
Fox's CJ Papa, that's under investigation. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thinking we will top out at about 55 degrees with a fair amount of sunshine this afternoon. Partly cloudy, 30 tonight. Thursday, partly sunny in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, 57. Thursday night, a nuisance mix of snow, sleet, freezing, drizzle, and drizzle. Not expecting much. Friday, some light snow with a little bit of sleet, freezing, rain, and rain. 35 on Friday. Friday's stuff should bring an inch or less accumulation. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
It's happening right here, right now.
We remain united. We remain united in our purpose to keep pressure mounting on Putin.
Reliance on a single foreign supplier can leave a nation vulnerable to extortion and intimidation.
But there will be cost as well here in the United States. I said I would level with the American people from the beginning. And when I first spoke to this, I said defending freedom is going to cost.
Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
Transform your home into the most beautiful home in the neighborhood with Banner Construction, St. Louis's preferred James Hardy and Pella expert. Right now, the safest place to invest is in your home. Add curb appeal and value with a fresh new look you'll be proud to own. Check us out on the website or call 314-569-1050 for a free in-home design consultation. That's bannerconstruction.com or 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. Again, 314-569-1050 or bannerconstruction.com.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free, plus a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value, free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Listen on the Odyssey app and rewind whenever you'd like. Or catch up on entire shows within 24 hours of air. 97.1 FM Talk. Experience the rewind with the Odyssey app. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride. You need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Beth. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
The media is framing this in a way that is, and this isn't my analogy, but this is the way I feel, that Ukraine is like the child of a divorce and they're fighting for custody, and Russia is the biological parent, and we are the stepmom who doesn't want the abusive dad to get him. That may not be an accurate analogy, but that's how I feel the narrative dynamic is going.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. Greg Gutfeld. This is on the 5 yesterday. Interesting, too. I've talked so much on this show about how much I appreciate Gutfeld's night show. That hasn't been running for 2 weeks now. Ever since the initial invasion took place, his show has been off. So we haven't seen a whole lot from him lately on Fox News. And I know that Gutfeld is I don't know if he's an acquired taste or if some people feel as though he's like what you lose when you acquire taste. I understand that he's not everybody's cup of tea. I love Greg Gutfeld. I think he's super smart, and I think he says things in ways that not everybody else is saying. But listen to how he continues to assess this problem.
This is what I give credit to Zelensky, is that this is the old world versus the new world. Putin thinks the world is only about seizing land, but Zelensky understands in a world of connectivity, you're seizing minds now. He's fighting a persuasive battle for minds, and he's kicking Putin's butt on this. Whether the stuff that Zelensky is saying is actually true, it's positively Trumpian what Zelensky's doing.
So Greg Gutfeld says something here that I think is really key and really important, which is this part of the clip, and I've got two more segments of this that I'm going to play for you, where he says that there's a battle of minds out there. If there is one thing that I hear the most consistently from you, it's, Annie, what is really going on? And while I think it's incredibly kind that you think that I know, I have no idea what's really going on. There's so much information that's out there right now. There are so many people battling for your mind and your persuasion and your emotion. It's a lot. I know that when you tune into 97.1, lots of you have 97.1 on all day long. Some of you have 97.1 FM talk on your radio from noon to 1 p.m. because you jump in your car for lunch and then you go back to your job or your work and you don't listen to the radio there. You can on the Odyssey app if you want to, or just buy a radio and make your whole office listen to it. It's a lot to take in. There's a war going on in Ukraine. You come home from work, you get the kids situated, or you take care of the few errands on the way home, and then maybe you go home and you flip on the news on the television, and it's just a lot. In some cases, it's too much. It's good to be in the know. It's good to understand what's going on. But in the midst of all of this, whatever you can stomach in your own personal life, whatever you feel is a healthy balance for you, what Greg Gutfeld said there is very important to remember, that there are people battling for your mind. Whatever takes place in the future, how you and I think of world wars, if that's the fear that is in front of you, which I get it. I understand that. My mind is there. We've seen, some people listening, it's possible, maybe saw ground war. Some people who are listening, maybe it wasn't World War, but fought in other wars since then and understand what this type of warfare looks like. I can't imagine what it's like to personally experience that. I've seen the movies. Are they accurate? There's no way for me to know. But if you've seen the movies and you've been in actual war yourself, nothing compares to experiencing not just the sight of it, but the sound of it and the smell of it and the touch of it that actual people experience when they're at war. We're all afraid of it. Of course we're afraid of it. Honestly, in some way, shape, or form, to be afraid of it is to respect it, because it's a scary thing. And if you look at potential war with Russia or whomever ends up being, I don't even know, are we on the opposite side of Iran and China and in these things? Because we're doing deals with them on the side with nuclear power and nuclear weapons. It's very hard to tell right now where America aligns on an array of issues. But regardless of the images that you see, I talked yesterday, and I'm sure many of you have seen the strollers that were lined up at the Polish train station so that when the Ukrainian mothers get off the train at that train station holding their children that they have walked miles and miles in the bitter cold, clinging to their babies, and in some cases toddlers, some cases multiples. When they get off those trains, they have a stroller to put their child into. That picture rips my heart out. People listening right now have children of an age that could be invested in this war, whether it's a draft or whether you think that your child is, your son or your daughter is the type who would see what's going on. And if America gets involved in a particular way, they'd say, you know what, I'm going to go do this. This is my time. I'm going to go do this. As somebody who was 17 years old, a senior in high school when September 11th of 2001, some of my nearest, dearest friends did that. Would they have engaged in that future had September 11th not happened? Maybe. But we turned 18 as the smoke was billowing from the pile at the bottom of where the World Trade Centers used to stand. And people who were very close to me signed up and said, yeah, I'm going to go fight for this. So I see all of you who are looking at this and fear is consuming you. And I bet you it feels like you've been trapped because it's the only thing on your mind right now. There are people who are battling right now for your mind. And we have to think about that. We have to be aware of that so that when people serve you information on the television screen, certainly the majority of this country and the world is looking at things that Putin puts out and just assuming that it's propaganda and fabrication so that he can persuade the people who he believes to be persuadable to go along with what he's doing. To say he's invading Ukraine to denazify them is senseless. But if people don't know any better, he's doing that to try to bring their minds. He's trying to fight for their minds. And Greg Gutfeld is spot on to say that. Ukraine, Zelensky, he is a man who's fighting for the survival of his country. He is going to do and say everything he can to protect his country. I understand that. And I respect it as a leader who is out there trying to do everything he can to salvage his country. But I have to watch that with a careful eye. That doesn't mean that I discount anything. It doesn't mean that I automatically trust everything. Listen to more from Greg Gutfeld on the 5 yesterday.
I love Zelensky the way a chicken loves the guy who feeds him pellets, because I'm in an industry where I love getting that pellet every day and learning what I'm going to say. But you have to wonder when you're listening to this stuff and whether these pellets are real or not, whether we are being artificially pulled into a conflict, right? Through this David and Goliath narrative that we're being given.
But it's true.
Well, maybe it is.
Yeah, it is
maybe
true.
it is. Is this true? Maybe it is.
Listening to Greg Gutfeld talk about the way things are being put out to us, the way things are coming out of Ukraine, I think is something important for him to say, important for Americans to hear.
I'm not saying it's not true, but I'm saying you have to be aware of what's true versus what stands out. Every day planes leave every second of the day. The only thing that stands out is when a plane crashes. So we like the stuff that stands out to be reported, but it's not necessarily representative of reality. We have to ask ourselves every day, are we being manipulated into entering a war that we should be no part of? And I resent anybody saying, oh, you must be pro-Russia or pro-Putin. No, I'm just pro-America.
I love everything he's saying there. The United States has the ability to support in many, many ways what Ukraine is doing to defend their own sovereign borders. I don't want to get in a war that we don't belong in because we overheard somebody say something in a bar room and, got offended by it and decided to push our way into a fight that we didn't belong in. I don't know that that's what we're doing right now, but I do know that we have people in the Senate who are saying some shockingly aggressive things that don't make sense. I mean, I don't know what Lindsey Graham is doing. I don't know what he's talking about. I don't know why he's calling upon people in Russia to take care of their own business with their leader. I don't know why we're just like saying this out in the open media. That to me, I keep hearing all of the experts, not necessarily the military experts that, like General Kellogg or is that his rank, General? Yeah.
Yes.
I keep hearing a lot of the other pundits say, we need to not do anything that's going to be considered an act of war to Vladimir Putin. And at this point, I'm thinking like, can't Putin wake up in the morning and just assume anything that we've done is an act of war? Like, if he decides it's going to be so, who's going to sit down with Vladimir Putin and rationalize like, oh, no, you took that wrong. We didn't mean it that way. I mean, maybe Biden's going to try, but he's not going to win. He's going to choose to do what he's going to choose to do. And I don't think we need to be giving him any extra reasons to think that we want to go to war with him. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know anything about anything. I'm just like you. I'm sitting here in the middle of the country with a 12-year-old son. Obviously has some time here, but I'm looking at him going, don't take my boy for this. This isn't it. What is the answer? I don't have it. And I'm not going to pretend to tell you that I do. I will fully, wholly admit to you right now that there is an infinite amount of stuff that I don't know about what's going on in the world right now compared to what I do know. And honestly, what I do know is what you know if you listen to the show with regularity, because we continue to pull guests onto the show that do have expertise in the area of war, in the area of that region in the world, in the area of energy, in the area of these type of foreign relations, in the area of American government and national security. I don't have those answers. And I know what it's like for you to be consuming this. I mean, it's on 24 hours a day. You can sit and watch this stuff 24 hours a day. When the commercial breaks come on, you can get onto the internet and check Twitter to see what you missed for the 5 minutes that they're running commercial spots. I mean, you can really overdo it. You can listen to this station. We're covering it. 97.1 FM Talk is going to have all of the breaking news for you as it is happening on this front. But at the same time, it can't be all we do all the time, because we cannot live like this. Good grief. COVID was like yesterday. When was the last time we talked about COVID? The Democrats all lined up in all of the blue states across the country and said, yeah, we're going to get rid of these mask mandates. The CDC finally caught up and said, yeah, we're going to stop recommending them. The Democrats pulled away the mask mandates and all the other mandates that they have, the distancing or limits on capacity, all that stuff. The Democrats in all of these states pulled it back, and then the CDC reacted. Why did the Democrats do it? Because the polling on it sucks. And they look around the country and they see that America has said, we're going to move on and start living our lives and stop living in fear. We're going to live for living instead of being afraid of dying all the time. That's what we're going to do. And the Democrats go, crap, we better change this. Midterms are coming up here in a hot second. We don't want to get caught behind the 8 ball being the anti-freedom party. Guess what? Too late. And then the CDC catches up and says, well, we better get behind the recommendations here because we don't want to be the last one holding the bag. Meanwhile, the majority of the country has far moved on from COVID. Is it still out there? Of course it is. Are you going to get it if you haven't? Probably. Are you going to get it if you've had? Probably. But we've decided we're going to live our lives. And right when we decide we're going to live our lives, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week coverage of Ukraine and Russia war, and the fact that it could be coming to a doorstep near you. Is that what they want you to think? I don't know, but if you keep watching, you'll find out. It's a lot to take. And I hear it from many of you. I believe, for me specifically, that if you, as a Christian, I believe that the God who is in charge and who you're very grateful to when everything is going great is the same God who is in charge now. And it's more important to now than it ever has been before to rely on him to take your worry away. Your worry is your fear. Your fear is what you don't know. And it's what is preyed upon to distract you from the important things in life. So get to the important things in life. There are things in this world that make you happy. You had like 48 hours to realize that post-COVID, pre-war. They've got your attention, don't they? On the live stream right now, we have, people on Facebook commenting on this, and the suggestion that we are doing the same thing here on this station, if that we're trying to bait you into potentially listening all the time. I do in fact want you to listen to the station in this show. I want you to listen to 3 hours a day, every day. I would love to have that relationship with you, but not because you're afraid of what happens if you don't, because this feels like home. This is comfortable, and we get you through the day because guess what? You get us through the day. It's really that simple. And if it doesn't work for you, and if the exposure to what we're doing here, noon to 3, is causing you stress, you need to find something else. We're going to take a quick break. Larry Behrens is going to join us when we come back. I've had questions from people reaching out to the show and wanting to know about energy in a pretty basic way. Same here, getting to ask questions about importing, exporting energy. What does America do? What has America done? What can America do? 8% oil imports from Russia, not doing that anymore. How's that going to affect things? We have an energy expert coming on next. And if you have questions, even the questions that you feel are, gosh, this is kind of a dumb question, but I don't really know the answer to it. Your question is everybody's question. Come on to the live chat on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, the Annie Frey Show Facebook page, and ask it to me, and I will potentially get it in to ask Larry here in just a minute. It's 1224. Donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. Larry Behrens, when we come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. It's not about left versus right. It's about wrong versus right. Where St. Louis comes to talk. Right here, right now. This is 97.1 FM Talk.
cajonesinc.com, your location to go check out the beautiful home layouts that they have there so you can start building your dream home. Now, dream homes, I think that there was a time where dream home meant like big palace mansion, a room for every day of the week, blah, blah, blah. I don't think that that's the direction that home building has gone. I think that really great usage of space and customization, making it yours and having the vibe, so to speak, of you is what is absolutely in. And knowing that if it's a house you're going to build, you're probably going to want to be there for a while, making it the right size, big enough, but not too big. You can go to cajonesinc.com and look at many different layouts, 4-bedroom layouts, ones with unfinished basements where you can put more bedrooms in if you got like a whole herd of people in your family like I do, or if you just, you and maybe you're an empty nester now and you just want to have that house that is just exactly the way you wanted. The people at C.A. Jones will help you through that entire process. They build in the Metro East. They have built so many homes in the Metro East, and yours could be next. Learn more at cajonesinc.com.
Hi, it's Michael Mohan at Community Mortgage. As we go into a new year, it is a great time to get started on a new home loan. If you've been thinking about a cash-out refinance to pay off debt or update your home, act now while equity is at an all-time high and interest rates are still at historic lows. Maybe it's the year that you're going to reduce your term or get rid of the dreaded PMI. Perhaps this is the year that you buy a new home. Call me now so you can shop with confidence. When you call, there will be no gimmicks or sales pitch, just straightforward, upfront information on refinancing and home buying options. So call me today, 314-336-6050, 314-336-6050, or online at communitymortgagestl.com.
Community Mortgage LLC, 224143, NMLS 250353.
Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. When it comes to your tax issues, why would you trust some faceless national company that uses cartoons in its ads to protect you? Tax problems are not funny and should not be treated lightly. If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue and you need a lawyer that will protect your rights. You can't meet face-to-face with a cartoon. And what happens if the national company can't resolve your issue and stops returning calls? Do yourself a favor and call the Lance Drury Law Firm. Our office is right here in St. Louis. I am a local attorney specializing in tax resolution. You can come in and sit down with a licensed, experienced attorney and put a name with a face. When it comes to tax issues, don't go with a cartoon. Get serious help with the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Updating your home with James Hardie Siding has never been more popular. With all of the options available, you need a partner to maximize your investment. The rising prices on vinyl siding has made Hardie Siding a great alternative. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie Shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no-obligation consultation today.
Mark Cox here. Guys, let Victory Men's Health help you regain your vitality by optimizing your hormones, vitamins, and sexual health. Victory Men's Health has the most cutting-edge technologies to treat ED. They have wave therapy. Listen, this is the biggest advancement for men with ED since the launch of Viagra. That's pretty incredible. They do the treatments in their office. Victory Men's Health offers wave therapy in both their Illinois and Missouri location. Check them out online today at victorymenshealth.com.
Ramblers in the wilderness, we can't find what we need. We get a little restless from search and get a little worn down in between. Like a bull chasing the matadors, a man left with his own schemes. Everybody needs someone beside him.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Never leave you alone. I can be the one you call when you're low.
Say you're going to do everything you can to reduce the impact that high gas prices have on Americans. We're asking other countries to think about maybe pumping more oil. Why not just do it here?
Well, to be very clear, federal policies are not limiting the supplies of oil and gas. Let me finish. Let me finish.
An executive order this
Peter,
first week that halted new oil and gas.
Let me give you the facts here, and I know that can be inconvenient, but I think they're important in this moment. There are 9,000 approved drilling permits that are not being used. So the suggestion that we are not allowing companies to drill is inaccurate.
So Jen Psaki and Peter Doocy doing their daily thing there, asking the questions like, why don't we drill? And Jen Psaki's very agitated response there is that it's not the government's fault, it's the companies. And I'm curious if that's actually the case, which is why we have Larry Behrens on with us, who's an energy expert and a communications director for Power the Future. Larry, welcome to the Annie Frey Show. It's great to have you here. We appreciate you.
Annie, thank you so much. It's great to speak with you.
So tell me your reaction. I don't even, you're the expert here. I don't even necessarily know how to phrase the question to you regarding what we just heard there between Peter Doocy, because Jen Psaki was also obviously prepared for that question with an answer that took the pressure and the blame off of the Biden administration. What was just discussed there and who's right?
Well, Jen Psaki is not telling the whole truth, and that's not surprising coming from the Biden administration. Listen, anyone who watched Joe Biden campaign for president and in his first year as president knows that he was going to declare war on American energy. And so let's get to the specifics. Those 9,000 leases, just because, and again, her answer comes from someone who is either intentionally misleading the American people or is woefully ignorant of the energy industry. Having a lease doesn't mean that there's just oil waiting for you and you're going to wait for it. Having a lease means that you are entitled to take a look at this part of federal land. And sometimes you're exploring it for oil. Sometimes there's not oil there. Sometimes there is no opportunity there. And so a lease is the first step to the process. It is not the only step by far. But let's get to the point. I know a lot of folks have talked about the Keystone Pipeline, as they should. They had a lease for the Keystone Pipeline, too. They had a lot of leases, 10 years worth of leases for the Keystone Pipeline. The Biden administration pulled out the rug from them in year 10 when it was near done. And so if you're looking at a small producer, someone who wants to get into the market and has $1 million or $2 million to explore these leases, knowing that Washington can pull out the rug from underneath your investment at any moment, you will not want to invest that money. And that's really the heart of the problem. They have trying to pretend now that they are agnostic about American oil is an absolute lie. They have undermined this industry. The facts show that. And I really wish, Peter would have responded with, well, I'm here to ask the questions. You're here to respond to them. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of those 9,000 leases were there given before Joe Biden came along. The Biden administration continues, even as Putin rolled into Ukraine, continue to try to fight development on American land. And they're just not being upfront about it. And so the White House went from, sorry, you've got me worked up. The White House went from, we should be doubling down on green energy to, oh, yeah, it's not our fault. And it is just mind-boggling, the answers they're trying to come up with, because the American people know better.
We're speaking with Larry Behrens. He is a director of communications for energy nonprofit Power the Future. I'm curious about, I want you to navigate us mortals here who don't really ever think about these things. And now it's the idea of oil and where it comes from and what it does is thrust in front of everyone every time they go fill their gas tank up. Gas prices are different than oil prices, but they're all interconnected. Explain to me what average Americans need to know about American oil, Russian oil, Venezuelan oil, Middle Eastern oil, how that all comes together to affect our daily lives.
Annie, that's a great question. So just some baseline statistics. In the United States today, we use about 18 million barrels of oil a day. And so when Joe Biden says we're going to release 30 million from the Strategic Oil Reserve, okay, it's about a day and a half that you released from the Strategic Oil Reserve. And so it's really, no pun intended, a drop in the bucket. At the height, when America was energy independent, we were producing nearly 13 million barrels a day. And people will ask, well, what's that extra 5 million? That's because it was built into the system when we were energy independent. So November 2019, before the pandemic, we were producing about 13 million barrels a day. Now we're down to about 11.5. So that's 1.5 million barrels a day less that we are producing in the United States today than we were at the height. Now, the White House, Jennifer Psaki will say, no, production's gone up. Well, production's gone up in the same way jobs have gone up. They crushed it and locked it all down during COVID, and that meant that nobody was using it. And then so they want to pretend they started from zero, and everything after the lockdowns they want to take credit for. And that's what they did with the jobs numbers, and that's what they're doing with the oil numbers as well. Make no mistake, before the pandemic, it was nearly 13 million barrels a day, and we can do more. And today we are at about 11.5. So we're running a deficit on what we need. And that's where it comes in from, okay, we need to go beg other countries to make more oil, because all of a sudden, and this gets down to it, Joe Biden is worried about the price that Americans are paying at the pump. He didn't worry that much in 2021. Suddenly the calendar changes to 2022. I don't know what's happening in 2022.
I was just going to say, why?
Start to worry about it. Exactly.
It's not policy, it's politics. Always.
Exactly. So now it's time to run to Venezuela, run to Saudi Arabia, run to Iran, and try to get them to produce more oil, when he just will not flip the switch on saying, you know what, I was wrong. We need to be energy independent, because not only is it good for our economy, it's good for us in the world of geopolitics.
So let's talk a little bit about, let's bite on what the administration wants us to focus on, green energy. drilling oil is bad and green energy is good, and we should just flip a switch. Pete Buttigieg, the transportation secretary, suggests that we should just, if we all invested in electric cars, we would be a much cleaner, better future. How's green energy working out so far? Where can Americans look across the country to see this being put into practice and making sense for the American people?
That's another great question. They can look to California. It's really simple. And I'll tell you, it's not working in California. Yes, the same California that during the summer of 2020 was fighting blackouts. Yes, the same California that has asked all of their electric car owners to not charge during overnight during summer months because otherwise it'll overload the grid. They can't keep the lights on. Yes, the same California that imports 25% of its electricity from other states. And so it is a failure everywhere it's been tried. It's much like communism. And I'll take you outside the United States because it's more relevant to what's happening right now. Germany tried to go down this road 10 plus years ago. They said, we are going to rely on solar panels and windmills, and we are going to lead the world. And they invested billions upon billions upon billions, and they found out it was unreliable. It didn't work. And so what did they have to do? Well, they found out that the German people are addicted to, lights coming on in their homes and hot water and heat during the winter. So they had to run to Russia and say, yeah, we need your natural gas. The wind and solar is not working. They stopped developing their own local sources of energy, had to run to Vladimir Putin, and that's where we are now. That's why we are worried about pipelines between Russia and Germany, because now they're beholden to a madman because they went down this green road. And now the message we get from the Biden administration is, oh, let's just do what Germany did and it'll turn out okay for us. No, it has not worked anywhere. End of story.
Larry Behrens with us right now. He's an energy expert. He's also the communications director for Power the Future. Larry, I want you to take me down the path of the cost of oil, where we get the oil, and what it costs for me to put the pump into my car and pay $4.50 a gallon, it's $4.59 in Illinois where I live. I work in Missouri. I paid $3.99 yesterday in Missouri, just across the Mississippi River, and felt like I was getting a steal because it was under $4. What's the relationship between the oil situation right now and how it works its way into our gas tanks?
Yeah, that's a fair point. And fun note, I'm in Missouri as well, and it jumped yesterday from $3.79 to $3.99 at one of my local stations here as well.
Yeah, going to work and coming home from work, it could change drastically in that amount of time.
I know. I was just above a half a tank, and I told my wife I'm filling up now because Joe Biden will, the invisible hand of Joe Biden will reach in between today and tomorrow, and it did. But to your point, and so when we are pulling, and because it speaks to the fact of, you can wreck America's energy industry very quickly. It is hard to rebuild it back very quickly. And so when someone has laid off their workers at a pump jack, at a well site where they are bringing up American oil, then those workers go find other jobs. They don't just sit around and wait for it to come back, and they go home and maybe they find other jobs, other opportunities. And then when the opportunity comes back, it's hard to bring it back. So it's always better just to kind of keep it on an even keel and not introduce this political volatility through it. Some of the science, America produces a different type of crude than other parts of the world, and certain refineries of which, the green groups have limited. Most of our refining capacity is just south of us here around the Gulf Coast. I would say almost 90% of it is in between Houston and New Orleans, if you want to look at where your gas is getting refined. So and I'm not just talking about the gas that goes in your car. I'm talking about the gas that goes in semi-trucks. I'm talking about the gas that goes into jets. And then it's those pipelines that move it across the country. And so being able to move these things quickly and efficiently, yes, I'm talking about pipelines, being able to get it out of the ground is not an easy process. We take it for granted because it's been omnipresent ever since, I can remember, and maybe since you can remember as well, but it is a long process that can be unfortunately destroyed very quickly, but it cannot be ramped up again very quickly. And that's why even if Joe Biden, came to the Lord today and saw what was wrong about his energy decisions, it would still take months and months to get us back to where we need to be. But the sooner you start, the sooner that things will begin to improve. And, there's no stomach to start more production unless it's in other countries. And, some may argue that's why he's going to those other countries, because the industry here has been so decimated. He knows it can't turn around fast enough so that he gets the political benefit of trying to lower gas prices.
Real quick before we let you go, speaking with Larry Behrens right now, how much of an impact on the global situation that we're in right now did President Biden's day one decision to cancel the Keystone pipeline, followed up by months later his approval of that Nord Stream 2 pipeline in Russia? How big of an effect did those two decisions have on where we are in this moment?
Massive effect. And the reason you know that is because leading up to this invasion, I know it seems like an eternity ago, but leading up to the invasion, the United States said, oh, we have sanctions. We have tough sanctions. And really all they had was, we're going to cancel the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The pipeline that Donald Trump had canceled, Joe Biden gave the green light to, and that ironically, the United States sanction on it didn't help a whole lot because Germany had already done it. Germany, who would receive that natural gas from that pipeline, had led ahead of the United States and cut it first. And so it is absolutely significant. And make no mistake, you have a Ukrainian lawmaker who said that the money that has been used to purchase Russian oil is now being paid for in Ukrainian blood. The money that Vladimir Putin is using today to devastate Ukraine came from all those nations, yes, including the United States, for buying his oil. And so you have to cut off his biggest commodity, which Joe Biden hasn't attempted to do until yesterday.
Larry Behrens, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. We hope to have you back soon because issue is not going away. And just like you said, it's going to take a while to ramp things back up here in the United States. But if we don't start today, we're going to have to start tomorrow. So why not get it going immediately? You could see the benefit of the president instead of going to Venezuela and Saudi Arabia and these other places around the world. Go to Texas. Start in Texas. That's our stuff and much more workable there. But I just don't see the administration doing that anytime soon.
You're right. Americans can do it better, cleaner, and more affordably than anywhere else in the world. And Joe Biden just can't handle that.
Gosh, I have to ask you, when you say cleaner, you know, we keep saying, you know, we're not going to drill here, green energy, you know, get into all the climate change stuff and the squad and blah, 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 blah. It just turns into noise for me. Mm-hmm. We do it cleaner here. And when we don't do it here, we're still bringing it in from somewhere else. If you really cared about Mother Nature and planet Earth, you'd want to do it yourself so you could control the cleanliness of it, I would think.
You're absolutely right. There is no way that they're doing it better in Venezuela or Saudi Arabia or Russia or the environment better than they would here in the United States. And I'll do you one better. Where do you think your solar panels come from? They come from near 100% from China, which has an abysmal environmental and human rights record. And how is China building the solar panels? Oh, they're building massive coal factories that are against the law here. So the fact is, you know, the Greens, well, sorry, I won't get too long into it, but yeah, the green energy is not so green. And the fact is our industry here does a better job of protecting the environment than anywhere else in the world. And so why we wouldn't utilize that, you'd have to ask the president.
I would love to. Larry, thank you for the time. I appreciate you. We look forward to having you back on the show soon.
Annie, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Yes, you as well. Larry Behrens, their energy expert and communications director for Power of the Future. Nice conversation there with him. Haven't had him on the show before and good to talk to him about that. There's so much that I don't know and understand about it. People tell me, and then I'm like holding on to try to get it into my thick skull. And, you know, like Brad, I was talking to you yesterday about electric cars and the energy that is produced for those cars. Mm-hmm. I mean, people say E85 gas is cheaper. That's all subsidized. It's not cheaper. It's from what I understand, not even better for your vehicles.
It's not a good fuel.
It's not. It's like a science project that they're trying to make work, and people who like it, the majority of them just like it because they think it's cheaper. But in the long run, it might not be for your vehicle. Let's take a quick break. Wiggins America. When we come back, I want to remind you in the rest of the show, we're going to have Alexis Mrachek from Heritage Foundation, and she's going to talk to us about Russia, Eurasia, and nuclear war, I think is what we're going to talk to her about. It's going to be an interesting conversation where we are going with that, who has what, and what we could see here in the future. And then a dear old friend of ours here on the Annie Frey Show, Dr. Scott Hardeman is back at 1:25, and we will ask the doc your questions. If you've got them, comment them on the live chat on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Probably go to YouTube because Facebook is going to kick us off for this song as well. But we'll restart it. We'll reboot it. Join us there on the Odyssey app. We'll be right back.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. The Mark Reardon Show
time with Dr. Buzz Hollander. A lot of viruses, and especially COVID, can affect cognition, and that's a serious concern. I feel like it's adding fuel to the paranoia that some people are really dealing with.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Stewart's American Mortgage, the bagel loan guy right now. If you're looking to purchase or refinance a home, you need to talk to Stewie. You just got to do it because he's the guy. You can go check. I'd say this about like Michael's Flooring Outlet. Like, go check out all the other flooring places, but go to Michael's before you go anywhere else. Same thing goes with Stewie. If you want to look into, have the conversations with the other people out there who can refinance your mortgage, go ask them for a bagel loan. They're going to laugh at you and they're going to be frustrated because they can't give you the bagel loan. You can only get that at Stewart's American Mortgage. He calls it the bagel loan because a bagel looks like a zero, and you're going to pay zero in fees to refinance your mortgage, to purchase that home with that mortgage. Zero in fees. All those other lenders out there are going to charge you for it. The reason why is because you're going to do your business directly with Stewie. I'm going to give you a cell phone number here. It's his cell phone number. You can call him. You can text him. You can text him something as simple as, Annie said something about a bagel loan. Maybe it would help me. And then he'll get in touch with you and you'll be working with him to get your interest rate down, to get the years shortened on the length of your loan, or to take some cash out and maybe do some projects around the house, or just take a sweet vacay. 314-324-4440, 314-324-4440. Find them online by Googling the bagel loan, NMLS number 226715.
The St. Louis real estate market continues to make headlines for home sellers. Selling's easier, but finding your next home can be tricky. Hey, Mark Cox here. For the best real estate advice, get to know my friend and realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I know everyone knows a realtor. I know several as well, but I only endorse Gloria because of her proven track record. I've seen her systems. I've met her clients. And when it comes to getting you more money, Gloria is the only agent and team I would trust to sell my home. The secret is Gloria already has the buyers. Thousands of buyers who are looking for homes in your area, your price range, and ready to buy today. This is how Gloria creates higher demand, multiple offers, and the most money for you. So take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Let's start off the new year with a new coat of paint. It's Mark Reardon for CertaPro Painters, and let's make 2022 the year you transform your home with some new colors and expert professional painting. CertaPro can make it happen, and the quality of the work will blow you away. One of my favorite parts of hiring CertaPro is I don't have to do the work myself. These are professional painters, and they can help you bring your vision of color to life. Schedule your free estimate today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-6000 today. That's 314-328-6000. And schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
You are listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic, mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company, the best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Used to keep it cool, used to be a fool, all about the bounce in my step.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
gotta keep it light, stay out of the fight. No one's gonna.
Joe Biden says you're polluting if you don't drive an electric car. What do you have to say?
How am I going to work?
He needs to keep in mind he's been rich forever. Like, a lot of people can't just, oh, no, yeah, I'm just going to switch to a Tesla.
He better focus to the gas price, not about the pollution.
If he's going to support us and basically give us some electric cars, I don't see why not, but he ain't giving nobody a car.
It's pretty accepted that we all pollute. It's part of our lives.
Everybody else is polluting now.
You're polluting if you do a lot of things. I don't really care what Biden says, to be honest.
Joe Biden doesn't know what he's doing and what he's doing to this country.
He shifts the focus to gas prices. That was a true let that stink in moment because I was like, what? Anyway.
Wiggins! Oh! Wiggins!
Brad, what are you putting in my clip sheet? The focus.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one who thought that.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
like, whoa, wait a sec. Oh, okay, focus.
Whoa!
Got it.
I mean, I know how we all feel about gas prices. The focus.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys or anybody
Long O.
listening, have you seen it more expensive than $4.59?
Mm-hmm.
Have you already?
Mm-hmm.
Because that was the highest I'd seen it yesterday, but I haven't seen much today.
I think I saw $4.69 in Illinois.
Gosh. Well,
It's going to get to $5 not very long from now. It's not going to take long.
Well, that was a question I had is where do you think it'll peak?
Oh, Lord, I couldn't even guess.
Because it's going up so fast, it's hard to keep track of. Gas Buddy right now says the cheapest in St. Louis is $3.56.
Anybody do those cash back gas apps or something?
My wife does that.
Do you get more money back if you spend more money? Is it not work that way? Maybe we're really missing out on an opportunity.
No, it's I guess it's based on it's like a point system, right? And then you can turn it in.
If you spend $20 on a tank of gas, or if you spend $60, are you going to get 3 times the points?
You get points based on amount spent.
Somebody recommend me one of those apps.
All right,
I'll send you one right now.
I was gonna say I'll have my wife send you one because she uses it.
Yeah, my mom
I'll
sent
use
me one
Terry's.
yesterday. Although it's apparently they're good for other stores too, not just gas. So
yeah, they are.
Maybe we're all using the same one.
It's probably the same one.
Have you guys altered your habits yet? The other big question. And
I try not to do anything or go anywhere. So
Yes, I am spending
Pretty hard.
more.
Is that the main thing?
Yeah.
Because I've already hit that point where we're talking about switching. My wife stays in Illinois and then I drive into Missouri. So we're talking about once a week, me taking her car.
Oh, sure.
Which is a huge inconvenience, surprisingly, because all the kids' stuff and all the school stuff is in that car. But we're talking about, well, how do we make that work? Because it's just so out of control.
Yeah. Well, I imagine we'll get to that point here in the next couple days. Like I know I'm going to be driving my wife's car Friday, but not to fill it up. It's for other reasons. But I can see us.
Does she have a
doing
cooler
that.
car than you? So you can look cool?
It has a turbo, but it's not cooler. No.
What's a turbo?
Look at his shirt.
This.
He's got a shirt on and it looks like Dunkin' Donuts, but it says
Looks like a hairdryer.
It says doing donuts.
Doing donuts.
And that's some piece of car that isn't.
It's a turbo.
It looks like a donut.
I've seen you 5 times already today and seen that shirt, and I didn't realize that it was a play on Dunkin' Donuts.
I know.
It looks just like
That's
Dunkin'
why
Donuts.
I love it.
Let that shirt sink in, Ryan.
I will now.
So a turbocharger forces more air into the car. So it basically tricks your small engine into thinking it's a bigger engine because the engine is basically an air pump.
Ball
in
says
reverse.
it's going to hit 7 in Illinois. Oh, boy.
I don't know what to think. I mean, I've seen people say $300 a barrel's coming and all kinds of stuff.
We have no idea. There's no way that you can predict it. There's gas prices. I mean, let me put this into perspective. Gas prices might be the least of our worries.
I don't know what does American society, what does the whole world look like? Because it's not just America. If you've ever traveled internationally, it's always more expensive than in America. So what does the whole world, do we have another giant economic slowdown in the next month? I mean, I really,
We
it's
just had
really
a pandemic.
frightening.
We just
Yeah.
had a giant, what is a slowdown from a shutdown?
I don't know, but isn't it frustrating how everything up until now, well, you could include now, has been self-inflicted. So you can't weather storms that come along. Let's say this was unavoidable.
The day before Biden took office, gas was $2.38. That is a 48% increase. It's
Good
just on the
grief.
screen right now since we're talking about it. We always talk about the things that are on the screen before they put them on the screen, I might add.
I've got a picture from
edge.
April 2020, so almost 2 years ago, that I was going to share on the anniversary date of gas in downtown St. Louis at $1.39.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that amazing?
I remember very much so watching and thinking, could this go below $1? Because I remember sub-dollar gas very well.
Me too. It just this kind of thing really bugs me because it's out of your control. It just eats away at all your plans and every financial thing you've got going on. It's hard.
No different than the grocery store or travel or
Yeah.
any other things that you're doing right now. Stick around. We've got Scott Hardeman in the next hour. Don't go away.
Mark Cox here. Join me and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. We'll be joined by Annie Frey and Mark Reardon Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. There's limited seating, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Did you know there are innovative financial tools that allow you to participate in the market growth and still protect you from losses? Are you concerned how all the market volatility is affecting your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your 401k or company plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from losses and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect that retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hi, Mark Goldstein here for Edwards Carpet. In my 40 years in flooring, I've never seen wholesale prices on flooring go up by more than 30% in a year. I can't say that anymore. Another increase is coming April 1st, so I've never meant this more. Now is the time to buy, and carpet is made in America. This is your last chance to get an Anso Fiber 20-year non-prorated warranty 50-ounce carpet that regularly sells for $6.99 for only $4.19 a square foot. Carpet, pad, installation, furniture moving, and take-up of your old carpet is all included for $4.19 a square foot. Edwards Carpet, best deal in town.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet store and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe, I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life too. Come to the Good Feet store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
Wealth-changing question. Is your advisor giving you incomplete advice? Besides investing, there's also taxes, insurance, estate planning, and other elements that can be stressful to organize. At Creative Planning, we provide all the expertise, all the advice you need, all in-house, ensuring all aspects of your wealth are working harder together so you can enjoy your wealth instead of worrying about it. Book your free meeting today at creativeplanning.com. Creative Planning, a richer way to wealth.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Record gas prices for a second day. Lisa Brady, Fox News, topping $4.20 a gallon in the AAA average for regular unleaded, though it's been much higher in parts of California.
I mean, we could be seeing $7, $8, $9, $10 a gas here in the United States, and that hurts low and middle income people. It doesn't hurt the wealthy earners in the United States.
Florida Congressman Greg Steube among the Republicans urging the White House to allow more U.S. production, while the president denies holding it back. Meantime, the White House remains non-committal on oil talks with Venezuela. Spokeswoman Jen Psaki moments ago saying she has nothing on any decisions yet, but she's praising Venezuela's release of 2 detained American citizens and noting that disputed President Nicolas Maduro said he would resume talks with the country's interim president. In Ukraine, sifting through the rubble of a maternity hospital hit by a Russian attack in the besieged southern city of Mariupol. At least 17 people wounded.
Mothers, expecting mothers, children injured. These are the people currently in the crosshairs of Russian missiles and shells. evidence of war crimes. There are civilians caught in the crossfire here. They are not soldiers. They're not members of the territorial defense. What's happening in Mariupol is so concerning because people are blocked off from the outside world. Hundreds of thousands of people who haven't had food and water and electricity for days. There are reports in local media of children dying of dehydration. That's what Ukraine is dealing with today.
Fox's Trey Yingst in the capital, Kyiv. Fighting also knocked out power to the decommissioned Chernobyl nuclear plant, raising more concern about the spent fuel stored there that must be kept cool. Russian state media raising concern about biological labs in Ukraine, pushing claims that the U.S. government is conducting illegal radiological and nuclear activity. U.S. cybersecurity officials observing an uptick in Russian disinformation. America's listening to Fox News.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thinking we will top out at about 55 degrees with a fair amount of sunshine this afternoon. Partly cloudy, 30 tonight. Thursday, partly sunny in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, 57. Thursday night, a nuisance mix of snow, sleet, freezing, drizzle, and drizzle. Not expecting much. Friday, some light snow with a little bit of sleet, freezing, rain, and rain. 35 on Friday. Friday stuff should bring an inch or less accumulation. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
When you're here, you're on the leading edge.
Julie's been very patient in St. Louis, listening on a great station, 97.1. Hey, Julie.
Hey.
Of everything happening.
You and the media have to resist the temptation to just say, oh, nobody's going to report on it. We'll just move on.
Locally and nationally.
Not in a million years, Julie. Are you kidding?
The world, the country, and the community meet here.
Because conservative radio and media pressed it and pressed it and pressed it, and it finally caught on.
I agree.
97.1 FM Talk.
Well, I love to hear stories when you go to Fountains Family Dentistry and you tell them you heard it on 97.1 and that's why you became a new customer. That's kind of the idea. Fountains Family Dentistry is in Fairview Heights, and it is, of course, my friend, Dr. Ty Parker, who runs that practice. And he is always, I can vouch, always been state-of-the-art with everything he's ever bought, and his practice is no different. So make an appointment with Fountains Family Dentistry. You'll be glad you did. Get on that 6-month or 1-year rotation, whatever's easiest for you. And that's kind of the idea. They do make it very, very easy for you to fit an appointment into your very busy schedule. It's something you know you got to do, but maybe you haven't done it in a while. Maybe COVID is the reason for that, or maybe it's not. Maybe you just haven't done it. Fountains Family Dentistry is open late some days for your convenience, open early other days, Monday through Thursday. It will fit into your schedule one way or another. The easiest way to find them is by visiting fountainsfamilydentistry.com. That's where you can make an appointment online or give them a call if you're more comfortable with that. Visit fountainsfamilydentistry.com. They're in Fairview Heights, right off of Highway 64.
If your business has accounting problems, you probably have tax problems. Hi, this is Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm in St. Louis. Running a small business is tough, and it's no surprise that companies that don't keep good books often run into tax issues. If you don't fix your accounting problems, you could be doomed to land in the same tax pitfalls every year. Call the Lance Drury Law Firm today. I can help you get out of tax trouble and stay out. If your small business doesn't have a CPA or accountant, I can help you find one. And if you already have one, I work closely with them to resolve your tax problems quickly. Make no mistake, if the numbers don't add up, the IRS will catch it. Fix your accounting and tax problems before they snowball with help from the Lance Drury Law Firm. Remember, if you have IRS issues, you have legal issues. Call attorney Lance Drury, 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Give your home a fresh look and save 11% on everything. Pittsburgh Ultra Interior Flat Paint and Primer in One's high-quality acrylic latex formula provides a durable and washable finish. Right now, a gallon is only $9.97 after rebates. That's $10 off. Hurry in. This deal's only good through March 12th. Get 11% off everything at Menards. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere. Where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
If this was a fight and you were on a scorecard, the Russians are losing this fight. And they're now seeing that they've got a real problem because Odessa is their third largest city. It's a seaport city. But again, if they go into the cities, they're going to have a big problem. And they're diluting combat power from what should be their main effort, which is Kyiv. And I think they're now trying to figure out, how do we do this? Because in fact, we're actually losing. Every day that goes by, and we're now getting to day 15, they're losing this war. We're losing in the information space where the entire world to see what's going on. They're losing in the military space. They're being beaten by Ukrainians. And the whole world's going, boy, we thought these guys were really 10 feet tall. They're not. They're about 5.5. And they're not, it's almost like they're, I hate to say this because I'm probably insulting the state, but it's almost like the Vermont National Guard with nuclear weapons. They're not performing very well at all. Everybody is saying that. Everybody sees it. So what they do, if I was advising, which, you know, God forbid he takes any of my advice, and you tell the Russian, you better focus in on your main effort, because if you don't capture Kyiv, take Kyiv, you have lost this war.
General Keith Kellogg reacting to the progression in Ukraine as Russia continues to invade that country, suggesting that it isn't going according to Russia's plan. As we were saying earlier in the show, it's very hard to take in the breadth of information, images, sound, video that is out there for you and for me to consume and really be able to parse, know what's true, what could potentially be propaganda. It's very, very difficult. But I do know that at the onset of this, when they were looking to see, will he invade? Everyone assumed he would invade, and we were all just going, okay, when is he going to do this? It was assumed that it was going to take a couple days and this would be over. Was there an expectation that it was going to take this long? No, I don't believe there was. If that wasn't the initial plan, people looking at Vladimir Putin and looking at Russia's intent here have to be questioning how he is handling this and what actually ends up happening next. Let's get our next guest on the show. Another friend from the Heritage Foundation. We're excited to speak with Alexis Mrachek. Thank you so much for coming on the show with us today, Alexis. You're an expert on this, a researcher on this, and we're grateful to have you here.
Yeah, thanks, Annie, for having me on.
So, Alexis, based on what I guess we thought we knew, what we heard from the talking heads on television were supposed to happen at the very beginning here, and what has transpired since then, weeks afterwards, what's your assessment of the situation as far as Russia is concerned?
Yeah, so we are almost 2 weeks out now from the start of Russia's war in Ukraine, from Putin's second invasion of Ukraine. And I think, honestly, yes, it's true what you said, that Russia's military logistics and planning are not going according to plan. I don't think that they planned on it taking this long. And still, they're not even being extremely successful. They haven't taken Kyiv, at least not yet. They haven't taken Odessa, at least not yet. Hopefully, they won't be able to. I'm hoping and praying that the Ukrainian military is able to defend these cities just with great success. But yeah, I mean, and now Russia is facing so many consequences with all these sanctions and then Western companies pulling out of Russia. They're essentially being completely shut off from the West. And now one Russian ruble is equal to less than a US penny. And so the Russian economy is just utterly collapsing. But this is their fault. It's their fault that all these sanctions are being imposed and these companies are pulling out. They did not have to start this war because Ukraine did not provoke it. It's Putin's own doing.
Alexis, if I'm trying to equate this to something I know or understand, if I'm watching somebody in my life who is attempting to do something and failing, depending on the stability in that person's life, failure might exacerbate the situation, might make the situation worse. If Putin is not succeeding the way he intended, if he's losing more men than he anticipated in this process, where does he go from there?
I think potentially Putin could get really angry. And just, I think in his mind, the whole situation could be exacerbated. And I mean, we can't rule out the possibility of a nuclear missile being deployed, a nuclear war being started. Of course, that's not an absolute for sure thing that might happen, but we can't rule it out. And I think honestly, Putin is unhinged right now. I think that he is not acting the way that he has in recent years. You can see even in his speeches online, his body language is a lot different. He's leaning towards the camera. His eyes are more intense. His tone of voice is more intense and almost angry sounding. Because I think he is really not happy with the way things are going. And he would love to take back Ukraine for himself and make it Russian territory like it was during the Soviet Union. But so far, he hasn't been met with that success.
Alexis Mrachek with us right now, research associate for Russia and Eurasia at the Heritage Foundation. Watching the invasion continue to take place and not knowing exactly what the end game is here for Vladimir Putin, is there any indication based on his behavior and reaction to the process so far as to how far he would like to take this aggression?
Yeah, it's unclear right now how far he's willing to take this, but I think he could potentially go really far. But then on the other hand, if war spills over into neighboring NATO countries from Ukraine, then that would bring on a whole nother war. Because the whole NATO alliance would have to come to those countries' aid, as listed in Article 5 of the North Atlantic Treaty, because an attack on one or more members of the NATO alliance is an attack on all members. But then, we can't rule out nuclear war. We can't rule out a war with NATO if the war spills over. Putin has already done all this just on his own without provocation from NATO or Ukraine. So who's to say really, how far he would be willing to go?
Alexis, thank you for your insight and your input. We appreciate your time here. We love the Heritage Foundation, and we're going to continue to follow this with expertise, like with folks like you. So appreciate your time.
Perfect. Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. I'm there's so much that we don't know. And when you don't know, you fill in the gaps with what you think you know. And what I think I know is mostly from movies and talking heads on TV, which are also people in many cases who don't know. They just have an expertise in that specific area. I remember Jim Carafano saying, I asked him, like, when you assess Vladimir Putin's mental stability, are you concerned about it? And he's like, at this point in time, he's comfortable assessing the situation based on what he does know. I don't know. How do you pour yourself into this, Brad? Like, taking in all of the information that's available to us right now.
Well, you try to, I don't know. What I do is I try to get rid of the absolute best, most rosiest information. I try to get rid of the absolute most terrifying information. And then I try to make sense out of what's left in the middle. Mm-hmm. I like to look at that map of where Russia is and their advancements and that sort of thing, because a lot of it that I take in is on Twitter. And it seems like there's two distinct groups on Twitter. And one group is Ukraine is absolutely kicking the tar out of Russia. And then the other group is like, this is all part of Russia's plan, and Russia's just about ready to come in here and wipe everybody out, and it's all over, and it'll be done shortly. And I don't think either one of them are right. When I look at that map, there's no doubt in my mind that Putin thought that he would still be fighting Ukraine. He didn't think that he'd still be fighting Ukraine 2 weeks into this. And I think everybody else expected them to like just go in there.
You believe that Putin didn't think it would take 2 weeks?
No, I think he thought he was going to walk in there and take it, and it was just going to overpower him. And he ran into a buzzsaw. And I think right now he's in a no-win situation. And to me, what I look for is giving him an off-ramp where he can save face. Because I think if you gave him an off-ramp where he could save face, he would take it at this point. But I just don't know what that off-ramp would be.
And who could give it to him?
Yeah.
Because that would make him beholden.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Like, I mean, this is the thing that frustrates me. What the hell do I know?
Right.
I'm putting together, I'm picking and choosing, like I'm at a buffet, different pieces that I want to select to put together on a plate that is palatable for me. But I'm not going anywhere near the seafood. And maybe all the answers and the truth are on the seafood part of the buffet, and I didn't even go over there because I think it smells bad. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
it
true.
Stinks. It smells really bad.
Yeah, you almost got to wonder, is it something that he's going to have to bring up, be like, this would be acceptable to me? And then you'd be like, okay, I see what you're doing here. This is acceptable to us. But that's really, like, the U.S. can't go in and negotiate on behalf of Ukraine and be like, yeah, okay, we'll give you Crimea and the eastern part of their state, their country. So you're really going to need Ukraine to negotiate that. And that probably in and of itself would be a sign of weakness to Putin, because he doesn't want to have to capitulate to them.
So we sit here and we think about Ukraine, Russia, Ukraine, Zelensky, Putin, Zelensky. And in the meantime, are you feeling really good and comfortable, sitting cozy at home? I mean, that's to me where the trepidation really exists, is I don't feel like we got our house in order. I don't feel like, we're just sitting over here and, the old phrase, waking a sleeping giant, that's from a moment in time that I would like to not revisit. Do we feel like when it comes to the American shore, game on, and we're America and we're the best, and I think we have the best.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have the bravest. I think we have the most amazing people who are serving in a capacity to kick butt wherever they need to go. I don't trust the politicos that are in charge of them.
Yep.
Listen to Dana Perino reacting to the Russia ban, oil
I will
ban.
forever make sure that it's clear that we were seeing record gas prices before Russia invaded Ukraine.
Yep.
Okay, so number one, when you're going to talk about energy policy in the United States, start there. And then unfortunately, it looks like it is going to get worse. You have a situation now where you have basically, we're willing to look past all the human rights violations in Saudi or Venezuela. We're okay with the fact that Iran says that they want to destroy Israel, but now we're going to go and give them this deal and also maybe take their oil.
So what is the United States doing on the world stage? It's really, really hard to tell.
I understand that there might be needs to figure out a way to get more oil into the system if Russia's going to be cut out. I get that. But I also think that the administration continues to say we have to transition to green energy, but they just are not sober-minded enough to say we need to do lots of things all at once. There's going to be a shift. If they don't announce some sort of a shift, no one is going to ever say that they did it. Them going to Saudi and Iran is not the shift that we're talking about.
All anybody in the political world is fighting over right now is who gets the blame. There's no actual measure being put into place by this administration, which on day one, very aggressively so, went against the idea of American energy independence. There's nothing being put in play by this administration where they're saying this moment in time calls for a shift in strategy, just like Dana said there, and going for the American people, we're going to XYZ. Elon Musk said it at his own financial peril. We need to be drilling, says Tesla. Very strange. Last bit from
you
Dana.
can say that we as a nation want to get to a cleaner, greener energy future. It's going to take some time, and tell the squad to sit down while you explain it. And then you walk them through and you say, I'm going to put a ton of money into innovation. In the meantime, we are going to go to visit Texas, and we're going to Pennsylvania. We're going to go to Northern California. We're going to go to Wyoming, Montana, all of the places where the United States has energy. We produce energy in a much more environmentally friendly way than any other country. And the squad needs to hear about that too. I think they're so worried about the left and their climate goals. And the IPCC put out another report today about the climate. We have to worry about the climate. Right now, there are people worried about actual survival of the Western world.
Yeah.
That's what we need to think about.
Great perspective. And when she says they need to tell the squad to sit down, remember that that's who the Democratic Party has become. And I'm going to put words in Dana's mouth, which I'm not allowed to do, but I'm just going to infer that when she says the squad, she's talking to the heartbeat of the current iteration of the Democratic Party, because that is not all Democrats. All Democrats don't believe what the squad believes, but they have been the incredibly screechy, squeaky wheel that has gotten all of the grease and has gotten us to this point in time. And it needs to change. Dana's spot on. Perspective, folks. Perspective and priorities. It's 122 right now. Donate your car to Goodwill. Get 2022 Cardinal tickets at mersgoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. We're going to take a quick break here. When we come back, our friend Dr. Scott Hardeman joins the show once again. So if you've got questions for that pandemic thing that was going on and maybe isn't anymore, or maybe it is, we're going to ask Dr. Hardeman those questions when we come back. I've got a few myself. So stick around. COVID, is it still here? Well, of course it is, but it seems like we've learned to live with it. We'll talk to Doctor when we come back. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. 97.1 FM Talk. Uncensored discussion that's free in more ways than one. This is where St. Louis comes to talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Right here, right now.
Air Comforts.
Feeling the pinch of higher prices?
Golden Oak Lending can save you money with their low 2.25% rate.
James Hawkins here, president of Golden Oak. Offset high prices with lower monthly payments or turn your home equity into cash.
Lock in this low rate while you can. Call 314-567-GOLD today.
Golden Oak Landing, short my blues.
NMLS 114937, 2.25% fixed, 3.336% APR, FHA 15-year mortgage with 20% equity and approved credit.
As I was saying, Air Comfort Service, your go-to place for your furnace maintenance. But guess what? Yeah, we're going to talk about warmer weather. I know it's going to snow later this week, and that's okay. Don't worry about it. Your air conditioner use is right around the corner, which is a good thing. I am excited for it. You need to make sure that it's in good working order. You can get monthly maintenance plans for your HVAC system from Air Comfort Service. Then you don't have to worry about any of that at all. Plus, I want to talk to you about Carrier Cool Cash rebates. When you go onto their website at aircomfortservice.com, you're going to see the different rebates that they have available for you. You can call them. These rebates are 4 figures in some cases. You got to go in there and see maybe what they have available for you. And if you don't understand it, give them a call and talk to them. Tell them the Annie Frey Show sent you. You are going to get treated wonderfully. I'm going to just be honest. You're going to get treated wonderfully, whether you mention my name or not. But it's always nice if you do. Tell them you heard about them on 97.1 on the Annie Frey Show. Air Comfort Service has helped our home with many, many things. And I know that they will be wonderful in yours as well. Reach out to them online to find out all of the details at aircomfortservice.com.
Hey guys, it's the new year. Are you still struggling with erectile dysfunction? I've yet to meet anyone that enjoys timing those intimate moments around a pill. Well, now you don't have to. The advanced wave technology at Pineview Medical has been shown by Cambridge University and the Cleveland Clinic to restore and even regrow blood vessels. It can improve circulation and eliminate erectile dysfunction. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us in the next 2 minutes and you'll receive a consultation, assessment, and blood flow ultrasound free. Plus, a special gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. You're going to love that. Trust me. This is a $600 value. Free to callers now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Guys, get rid of your ED and get that spark back. Call Pineview Medical now to qualify. 314-530-7777.
Home warranty.
I know, right? Buying coverage for appliances, your heater and AC, etc., from a company that hopes you never ever have a claim or call. Let me introduce you to a real home warranty company, the kind that actually wants to help you. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. Upkeep visit your home 4 times a year to maintain your appliances and equipment. You will never get a lack of maintenance denial because Upkeep does the maintenance. Also nice, Upkeep assigns you one point person to help you. You won't be passed around like an office hot potato, and you won't get subcontractors. Upkeep does all their work, so there's no blame game. Just experts helping you. Visit upkeepstl.com today and type in 971 for $100 off. Don't be denied. Instead, be relieved. Upkeep Home Warranty and Maintenance. 636-387-7331.
Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep. Keep up your home with Upkeep, and you'll have a happy home.
Updating your home with James Hardie siding has never been more popular. With all the options available, you need a partner to ensure you maximize your investment. Siding Express is ready to refresh the appearance of your home or totally transform the look by installing Hardie shake, board and batten, lap siding, or a stone accent to make it your dream home again. Siding Express is an elite preferred James Hardie contractor. They also carry Anderson and Marvin windows and doors. Need ideas? Go to sidingexpress.com and schedule a free, no obligation consultation today. sidingexpress.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Good grief. We're going to take a moment from the new crisis and go back to the old crisis and talk a little COVID. You guys remember that? Those were the days, right? So many different places who have had mandates or requirements. They've pretty much all been lifted. I saw that Hawaii was the final state. I don't know if it's lifted yet. They had a mask mandate, but it has been announced that it's been lifted. So it might be like next week or something. The mask mandates are gone. And we're starting to get back to our normal lives. And now on a global scale, we're all on the edge of our seat to see what happens next. But COVID is still here. There are variants that are still out there. People have been vaccinated. Some people are not ever going to get vaccinated. Where does that leave us in this moment? Well, the one place that we've always gone to since the very beginning of this is Dr. Scott Hardeman. He's a physician at Gateway ENT, also with urgent specialists. Doc, welcome back to the show. It's great to talk to you.
Thanks. It's nice to be back and talk to you all as well. Things are rapidly changing, aren't they, on a number of fronts?
You know, one thing that you and I have talked about off air is how busy you've been in your ENT work, that a lot of people are in, I guess, some way, shape, or form getting back to normal and maybe engaging in procedures or appointments that they have put off for some time.
Yeah, certainly the things that have been more chronic conditions that have not been dramatically life-altering, people have put on the back burner, some afraid to get out, some scheduling issues. Obviously, we've had various shutdowns from time to time at the hospitals. They've curtailed the number of cases that could be done and the complexity of the cases. And so as that pendulum has sort of swung back the other direction, we're in a position now where we can start to take care of some of those things that have been, sort of on people's minds for a long time. We're also just seeing a lot of other respiratory issues. We see a lot of significant infections that happen from dental problems and other things that kind of make their way into the ear, nose, and throat world. And I think a lot of it has to do with just people neglecting healthcare for the last couple of years and other fronts.
Now, Doc, I wonder if is your business, is what you do as an ENT, are you seeing effects from long COVID? Because I think that's kind of the conversation. I get a lot of articles on that in my news feeds about the symptoms that people are having pop up even months after they had the actual virus. And they seem to be, obviously the smell is the big one. And I'm curious how that factors into what you do.
Yeah, it does. I think the folks we tend to see most with that are the ones that are probably about 2 or 3 months out from an infection where they're still hoping that it will come back. And they sort of expect it. Initially when that was happening, we would see people pretty quickly after the infection just to see if there's any intervention that we could do. I think over time now, some folks are kind of learning to live with it. a frustrating symptom. It really is. I think it's challenging for people. Some people get a partial sense of smell back. Some people don't get it back at all. The vast majority still do, which is good. But we see folks that are just kind of looking to see if there's some alternative options out there, things we can talk about doing to treat. And there is a little bit of buzz from time to time. You'll see some of these old drugs kind of resurface about antivirals and antidepressant medications that have kind of been shown in some studies here and there to affect acute COVID, that they get recycled, and a study will pop up from time to time about using it to treat the loss of sense of smell, even in kind of a protracted or long case like that. So we see that. We also see some folks who've temporarily associated changes in hearing or ringing in the ears, changes in taste sensation as well. To be honest, it's hard to know because viral things like this cause all of those symptoms. And so this particular one, like we've talked about for the last couple of years, is just so much under the microscope that, it's hard to really know if this is just a natural thing that you would see in the population or if it truly is connected with that particular virus. But, there's issues for sure that we'll see for some time with this.
Chris on Facebook says, I still smell smoke/campfire all the time. I've heard of people having a sensation when they eat where everything tastes like rotting something or other. It's like a very, very drastic change to the smell, the taste. And to me, the weirdest thing is that it seems to maybe didn't even affect them necessarily when it happened. Months go by and all of a sudden this kind of just rocks your world because everything you smell is terrible. I have a relative who thinks that water needs to have filtered water because regular water that comes out of the faucet just has a putrid odor for them. There seems to be no consistency about what that thing is, but the smell is offensive and it's affecting people months after they've contracted the virus.
Yeah, I think you said the two that are probably the most common, and they're not just most common with post-COVID changes in sense of smell. So there's anosmia, which you lose smell completely, and that significantly can alter your taste sensation in the sense of the real variety of tastes that are there. And then there's parosmia, where there's an alteration sense of smell, and smelling something kind of rancid, tasting something rancid or putrid, and smoke are very, very common complaints of that. To be honest, I think if you get a little bit of sense of smell through, even if things are altered, there's potential there that there's still some room for improvement. And, offline we had spoken about, some of the smell retraining options that are there. We just don't have any great issues. Nerve damage, which is what this really boils down to, is it's always hard, no matter what the nerve is, to try and get it to regenerate. Early on, you can try things like steroids, and of course taking zinc in relatively high doses has kind of been shown for years to maybe have a little bit of impact on sense of smell. But if you're getting some things through, you can try and reconnect those synapses and just retrain your brain to recognize some of these smells through smelling various essential oils that you cognitively can remember what the sense of smell was for that, and trying to blind those eventually to where you can recognize them without looking at the label and what it is. And it's kind of, to some degree, the best that we have to offer at this point, although there's some pretty intense research going on in this sector, as you can imagine.
One of the other long COVID symptoms that I've heard people talk about is just the fatigue that sets in, and you are so vacant of energy on a regular basis. Are we on the right track to figuring out how to fix these things, or are we just really still in the gathering of information phase because we're not too far out of the actual contraction of COVID in the first place?
Yeah, I think probably a little bit of both would be the answer to that. I think we're starting to understand a little bit more and more about it, but trying to find the common thread of why one person who had very, very mild, for purpose of discussion, illness versus someone who had real significant illness. Why does that person, one more so than the other, have a protracted case of excessive fatigue and muscle weakness, et cetera? There were some initial studies to show that vaccination tends to blunt some of those long COVID issues there. And, every day there's a small study that will pop up here or there about the effects of COVID may have, even in mild cases like that. But unfortunately, there's no real clear consensus on what the cause is directly, where that is impacting the person, and then B, sort of what you do try and combat that at this point. But we're going to have, plenty of subjects, unfortunately, of folks to study with this long term too. And, the good news is, though, I think, there are certainly numbers of people who had relatively mild illness and weren't hospitalized that still have some of these lingering symptoms. But in the grand scheme of things, they're still relatively rare compared to, the overall number of folks that have been infected with this. Certainly with this last wave, we were logging, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of cases a day that were official, not to mention all the ones that were not official to the home test were being done.
We're speaking with Gateway ENT physician, Dr. Scott Hardeman. Also, he's at Urgent Specialists, which is worth the drive. I've had to take my kids there multiple times. UrgentSpecialist.com. It's a long haul, but it's worth it because it's the best. Doc, I'm seeing people in my life who are recontracting COVID. I know multiple people personally who have had it now twice. What do we know about the effect of the second infection related to the first? If you were hospitalized with the first infection, how does the second infection hit you? Is there any consistency there?
Yes and no. I think it has to do somewhat with timing of how far out you are from the original infection. I would still generally stand by the premise that until Omicron came along, the risk of reinfection is still exceedingly rare. Now, with Omicron, it's a little different. There were enough variations that took place there that you would see folks who would contract this second time. I think largely the severity of the second course around is less, and the symptoms tend to be more like a mild respiratory illness. In fact, to some degree, even get missed because they are pretty mild and just would sort of dovetail almost to a common cold type symptom. There's exceptions to that, I think, depending on the immune response and the overall health status of the individual early on. There's some very interesting information about how one individual mounts a good and strong immune response initially in a healthy way, and then those antibody levels tend to kind of wane just a bit, but they have good T-cell and memory immunity to it, so they can ramp back up quickly if they're exposed again. So I think as the variants change, as it kind of evolves a bit more to hopefully, less aggressive, perhaps more contagious, kind of like we've seen with this, Omicron and the subvariants from there, it wouldn't shock me if we see, the numbers of people getting it a second time or third time, but it's sort of in the vein of almost what influenza could be like, or just getting recurrent upper respiratory illnesses. If in the end the symptoms are mild and people, it doesn't wind you up in the hospital and people recover very quickly, the track to get to a good, robust immune response, be that through vaccination, natural immunity, or a combination of both, is certainly there.
Is there a value in going to get your antibodies tested and knowing what your natural response to the virus would be based on if you have a high immunity built up to it, you can, move through life one way. If you had it a long time ago, maybe got it in the very first wave, are you going to behave differently? What's your advice?
I think there was a period of time when it was still, very prevalent in the community. We were logging, multiple cases over the course of a day within the country. I don't know that it has necessarily, other than just I kind of want to know, I'm curious mentality. I think most folks have reached a point where they're sort of adopting the mindset that it's endemic, it's here to stay. We're going to kind of get through life. And the good news is that if I've had it before, I should be okay as far as not having any real severe illness. And the same with vaccines. As time goes on and we roll from year to year to year, there's always that chance, of course you have to hedge your bet a little bit. There's always that chance that some much more aggressive variant could pop up and develop. But I think for all rights and purposes, checking your antibody levels at this point probably doesn't provide you with a whole lot of comfort other than just sort of curiosity running one direction or the other. I don't think people are going to curtail their behavior for it right now.
Pam on Facebook says, can you tell if you have natural antibodies after you've been vaccinated?
You can. You absolutely can. So typically when you check antibody levels after vaccine, they check for your response to the spike protein, which is effectively what the genetic code for that is. Before we had the vaccine, so that window of time from March through December, or February through December, that first year of the pandemic, if you would check antibody levels, you would check for something called the nucleocapsid antigen antibodies. And that's a native infection. And so I've actually had a conversation with a couple folks. I said, I got vaccinated and then I checked my antibodies and they were 0. And it was because they were checking for the nucleocapsid antibodies, and had they checked for spike, they would see it. So you can differentiate between the two.
So, the mandates across the country by our political leaders have been pulled back. The CDC has incredibly loosened what their recommendations are for grownups, for kids, for indoors, for outdoors, so on and so forth. A lot of people feel very, very strongly that the proximity to the 2022 midterms has weighed heavily on those effects. I'm curious, in your medical opinion, how have we gotten to this point where we are safe enough now that we don't have to do all these things that we were really being, ham-fistedly told this is what you have to do essentially to be a good person previously? We get to this moment in time where we've had a drastic shift in that. Is there a good medical explanation for this moment in time pulling all those mandates back?
That's a really good discussion point. I think, where we are today, we've been before, right? And we didn't loosen those mandates and do all those things. So you could definitely sort of raise an eyebrow at that and think, well, why now is it suddenly we're just going to be okay with this and it's going to go away? I think, and there may be some political aspect of that. We've always tried to not dip our toe too terribly much in that on this show. But I think ultimately, if you just look at, case numbers are actually quite low now in the country, 23 to 30,000 people across the country a day are being logged. We're still seeing, relatively high mortality just from some lingering effects of that most recent wave kind of moved through. The positivity rate is dropping, the penetrance into the community has gone down. And the other two real distinct things I think that does make me feel better of sort of saying, let's get rid of some of this stuff now is, number one, a lot of people got this illness over the course of the past 3 to 4 months with this most recent variant. And that went a long way to sort of breaking those chains of rapid transmission in the community. And the second part is we're heading into the spring and summer months, which there just generally tends to be less transmission of respiratory illnesses. It's not 100% the case, but in general, when people are outdoors and, not congregating indoors where there's poor ventilation, et cetera, you just tend to see not as many cases of respiratory illnesses going around. So I'm in 100% agreement that releasing some of these restrictions now. I think we're definitely there, and I think we should continue to plod forward and give our kids an opportunity to see each other safe and act normally at school and do all these things that are out there. But you could also look at that and think, well, there's still a fair number of cases, and there's still some people hospitalized, and there's still a positivity rate. It all comes down to just gauging risk of where we are. We don't live in a risk-free environment. I think people are just kind of worn out, and they just want to try and see some normal life come back at this point.
I'm trying to keep my crises separated here because we, on this show talk about this whole other big thing that's going on in the world. But did the CDC shift their focus to hospitalizations versus just positive cases?
They did.
Isn't that a huge difference in what we're talking about if that's the way we look at it?
Yeah, we talked about that 18 months ago, practically. There was going to be a point where where several things, where they've gone full circle. That's one where we should start saying, let's start thinking not about the numbers of cases, but about the severity of the illness and the hospitalizations and the age groups and who it's really impacting and what that looks like. And two is just simple things like dosing intervals on vaccines. We talked about how in other countries they were spreading the intervals of dosing vaccines out to 2 months and beyond. And, here we wouldn't do that. We probably could have, had a bigger impact early on. And now we're kind of shifting our attention to those recommendations as well. So a lot of things have kind of come full circle. There could be some political ramifications of all of that. But I also think that to some degree, we're really all kind of learning our way through this. It's, in my life, I've been a practicing physician. I haven't seen anything like this at this level. And I think there's gauging the response to that and learning on the fly has been a big part of it too.
Last question for you. I'm just curious, what we're like 2 years out from when everything really just came to a screeching halt. What we did not know then, we made a lot of decisions in the moment, which is what you do, like you said, learning on the fly, to what we know now. What can the average person out there do for their own personal health that combats something like COVID if they were to get it, and I'm sure would help in a myriad of other health issues that could plague them?
Well, certainly managing chronic health issues, trying to maintain ideal body weight and trying to stay healthy, not smoking, not having, managing, chronic lung-related issues, diabetes, the best that you possibly can. Be aware if you are ill of not going out in public and letting that sort itself out so that it would decrease the risk of transmission of any respiratory illness to other folks. Staying, a good nutritious diet. I mean, all of those things we've seen, if you really dissect out the hospitalizations and mortality, there's some significant comorbid issues that have factored into that, and identifying those and then trying to work towards a healthier lifestyle certainly is of utmost importance for probably future pandemic issues like this too.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Doc. It's great to have you back. We're going to get you back on here again soon. I look forward to the time when we can talk to you about things other than COVID. And we've been able to get there a little bit, and I think it's worth acknowledging. And you've shepherded us through this 2 years of this, and we're so grateful for you.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you all for all you've done as well, and look forward to talking to you again.
Sounds great. Doc Hardeman there with us. He's a ENT. I mean, seriously, this is completely, it just was by happenstance, but a relative of mine had to have some nasal surgery done. I don't even know what the whole procedure was. And it just so happens that they ended up going to see Doc Hardeman, and it was highly recommended from within the medical field. So he's legit. If you're looking for an ENT, I highly recommend that you go to see Dr. Hardeman there at Gateway ENT. And truly, urgent specialists is an urgent care, but they have specialists that are there on call for you, so you can speak to a specialist with your urgent care needs. And because I have 4 kids, we keep injuring ourselves, and we drive it from where I live in Illinois. It's a drive, but I would much rather make that one drive there and put my children's health in the hands of somebody I trust and the specialist there that I trust. For me, it's been worth the drive for my kids, and I can't give a more ringing endorsement for urgent specialists than that. Let's take a quick break. A little more Annie Frey show here before the 2:00 hour. Ryan Wiggins is going to come back in studio with us. Come join us on the Annie Frey YouTube channel and say hello. Tell us where you're listening from. And I'd really love to know, how much are you steeped in the Ukrainian coverage right now? And how much do you want to be steeped in it? How much do you want to know? Would love to hear from you. Stick around. More Annie Frey show in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show. The Mark Cox Morning Show.
It's only been a year, Mark. He has destroyed the country in 13 months, Keith. Wouldn't you trade a few mean tweets for $2 a gallon gas?
Absolutely, Marky. I don't make Mark Cox money. I make Keith Pantone money.
Weekday mornings 5 to 9.
So the Closet Factory, online at closetfactory.com, is there to design a solution specifically catered to your needs in your home. I'm going to list off a few fun things that I don't normally talk about that the Closet Factory can come in and do for your home, like a wine pantry. That sounds fun. Will you get that done in your house and then invite me over to your newly organized wine pantry, and we'll sit there in your wine pantry, by your wine pantry, and sip wine? That sounds like fun. The Closet Factory can create that customized storage solution for you for your specific needs. If it's something that they've never done before, they still have all the parts, all the pieces to make it look top notch and to be the perfect fit, like a glove, for your home and for your needs. They also have wall units that they can put in. So if you were looking for wall storage built-ins and you want it to look very, very pretty, very finished in your home, matching your home, they have all the different things that that you might need customized to your specific wants and desires that they can come in and create for you. They're the best. They're local. They've been in my home. I hope you invite them into yours. 314-961-4300. Mention the Annie Frey Show when you call them. Visit them online at closetfactory.com.
Mark Cox here. Join me and Thomas Helbig of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. We'll be joined by Annie Frey and Mark Reardon Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. There's limited seating, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Did you know there are innovative financial tools that allow you to participate in the market growth and still protect you from losses? Are you concerned how all the market volatility is affecting your retirement accounts? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your 401k or company plan tax-free to protect your nest egg from losses and still generate more income than most investment options? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect that retirement nest egg and join the official financial advisor of my show, Thomas Helbig, Tuesday, March 22nd at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Call 314-993-9494 or online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
There's a big red barn where you say green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm
I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn with locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
When Richard Irvin decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty. Irvin joined the Army out of high school, served in Desert Storm, decorated for bravery. Surviving a brush with death in a dangerous war zone, Richard dedicated his life to service because he loves his country and knows how fragile freedom and security are. As a prosecutor, Irvin put thugs behind bars, drug dealers, gangbangers, 1,000 convictions, hired more cops, and cleaned up crime as mayor, balanced budgets, passed property tax relief. When riotous looters came to town, Irvin shut them down. He knows we'll lose the country he fought for if the radical woke mob takes control. Irvin says all lives matter, that schools shouldn't teach kids to be ashamed of their color or country, that we'll take our state back if we have strong, service-minded leadership. And that's Richard Irvin, our next governor, paid for by Irvin for Illinois.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. In addition to heating and cooling, Air Comfort Service also offers indoor air quality, water heater, and AeroSeal duct sealing services. Get in your comfort zone with aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
So I lied. Are you the now or never kind? In a day and a day, love, I'm gonna be gone for good again.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. So I had Richard Irvin in the studio yesterday, who is the mayor of Aurora, Illinois, second largest city in Chicago, and running for governor. You guys have some thoughts on him, positive and negative feedback that I got after having him in the studio. Now, Brad, a lot of people have messaged me and said, would you consider having Darren Bailey on the show?
Absolutely.
We have
and we've had him on, right?
Many times.
I would love to have him stand right there where Mayor Irvin stood.
Yes.
But yeah, we've had him on at least 2 times since I've been here.
I was working with Darren Bailey, who is also running for governor. He started out as a state house rep. It was pre-pandemic, so at the latest, it was 2019. But I think I was working with him potentially in 2018. And by that, I mean, I would drive out to Effingham or other places in Southern Illinois and MC events for him and Blaine Wilhauer and Chris Miller is a representative. I went to, what's Halbrook's district? I drove up north for that. I've worked with a lot of these representatives, and Darren Bailey obviously is the one who's running for governor. And we've had him on many, many times, way before he was running for governor when he was in the state house. Now he's in the state Senate. We've had him on since he's been running in the state Senate. We've had him on multiple times since he's been running for governor. And we saw the most recent time that I saw him was at the Madison County Lincoln Day dinner, which you were at also, Brad. And, you know, we met him there and we talked to him there. So I get that if you tune into the Annie Frey Show yesterday and you hear Richard Irvin, that you might think that that is me going, hey, here's your guy. Oh, gosh, no. You know who's not my guy? J.B. Pritzker.
Absolutely.
And if you want to run for governor in the state of Illinois and you submit your signatures and you're on the ballot, let's talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's really about it. So I was very impressed with Richard Irvin. I've seen attack ads on him. I know the concerns that exist across the state with him, but I also know people who speak very highly of him and call him a transformative candidate. So I want to know about him, and I want to connect him with you. Like, you're the focus here. So when I get messages from people and they say, would you consider having Darren Bailey on the show? The answer is absolutely yes. We will get him back on the show. And all of these different candidates are invited to come visit us in the studio. And I'm hoping to potentially a little bit closer, not too terribly close, but a little bit closer to the primary, which is going to be in late June, potentially do an event in Southern Illinois where you can see them and get to know them a little bit better. And I know that I've talked with some of the candidates or some of the people who are affiliated with it, if they'd be interested in that. And there is some interest. I haven't got a commitment from everybody. So maybe some come, maybe some don't. I don't want to do it in a way that it creates a knockdown, drag out, fighting debate between them. I want to give you a substantive way to learn about these people, and then I want you to be invested, and I want you to support who you choose to support. That's pretty much it. So we'll continue to have different candidates on. I will continue to have Richard Irvin in the studio if they're back down here in Southern Illinois and they want to come in, and I will ask him tough questions. If you have concerns, please, of any of these candidates, and we have them on, let me know what they are. Because that's my job, I'm in the room with these candidates and I can ask them the questions that you want the answers for. That is, in my view, what the press is supposed to do. Not be lapdogs and not, you look at the press conferences that Jen Psaki has and compare them to the press conferences that Kayleigh McEnany or Sarah Sanders had at the time. And there was definitely an advocacy that existed before. And potentially a opposite of that exists now, a protection. It's pretty ridiculous. If you missed that interview, go check it on the podcast. Stick around. Ryan Wiggins in the studio next.
I'm back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Hi, this is Arnold, owner of the Good Feet Store. Do you have a hard time getting out of bed in the morning because of a sharp pain in your heel?
I did. I had plantar fasciitis. I had a burning sensation on the bottom of my feet. I went to the Good Feet Store, and what a relief. And now I never go without my Good Feet support.
Are your knees and back killing you by the end of the day?
It was getting so severe, I almost stopped walking. I have no problems with my knees now. I couldn't believe how fast it helped me.
You deserve a better life, too. Come to the Good Feet Store today.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Deerbirds.
Thanks to the Good Feet Store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Pain relief and comfort to fit any budget. Come in for a free test walk today. Good Feet products are proudly made in the USA.
Dr. Jody at Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, your very, very best asset in the bi-state region for great orthodontic care. Now, I am going to, I need to look at this. I can't believe my kids are old enough right now to have braces. So we're going to go get my oldest, 12 years old, and my second, who's 9. We're going to go get their assessment, see what they have to do. I'm sure they're going to have some work, but I'm very happy to take them to a place that I know is going to get it right the first time. Hensher Johnson Orthodontics, located right across the river in Columbia and Waterloo. People come from both sides of the river to go to Hensher Johnson and to see Dr. Jody and the amazing staff there because they are the best. And, this insurance is potentially, I have orthodontic because I knew I was going down this road. You might as well. If you think you have it in your future, go get a consultation with Hensher Johnson Orthodontics and get the smile that you've always wanted to have. Like I said, you can find them online on their website at hensherjohnsonortho.com.
You say tomato and I say tomato. Everyone is different. We have different fingerprints, different jobs, different homes, different personalities. We think differently, we speak differently, spend differently, and save differently. Why would our dreams for retirement be different? At Heisey Advisory Group, we help our families put together the many pieces of the financial puzzle to provide a clear plan for the future, embracing the uniqueness of an individualized plan. Take advantage of scheduling your initial strategy session and going through our retirement roadmap review process to see if your retirement dream is within reach. Call 314-328-6000 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. That's 314-328-6000.
IZ Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
KFTK FM Florissant, driven by the Bomarito Automotive Group, 97.1 FM Talk.
An Odyssey station.
Last-minute change on Capitol Hill. On Lisa Brady, Fox News. With lawmakers facing a Friday night deadline to avoid a partial government shutdown, House Democrats have just scrapped a plan for billions more in COVID funding that clears the way for votes on a more than $1 trillion bill to fund the government through year's end, also including aid for Ukraine. This as President Biden urges Congress to finish work on something that already passed both chambers during the supply chain crisis.
The bottom line is this bipartisan innovation bill will allow us to stamp more products made in America. And it's going to bolster our national security and our economic security.
He's been meeting with business leaders. A Polish plan to give fighter jets to Ukraine is grounded because it involves using a base outside Ukraine.
The United States does support bolstering Ukraine defense efforts to push back Russian invaders. White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki says while hundreds of billions of dollars in defense assistance has been delivered, she cited Pentagon concerns about logistics delivering aircraft.
Fighter jets manned by Americans departing a NATO base to fly into airspace contested with Russia raises serious concerns for the United States and for the NATO alliance.
Psaki says conversations on how to best accommodate Ukraine's air support needs are being done through Defense Department channels.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The first person to receive a heart transplant from a pig has died.
David Bennett's doctors told him he would die. The 57-year-old was not eligible for a heart transplant and was on life support when doctors at the University of Maryland Medical Center gave him a pig heart. But to keep his body from quickly rejecting the animal organ, they used a pig that had been gene edited. His son praised the hospital and doctors for conducting the experiment, calling it innovative and a historic effort.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. More than 40,000 organ transplants were done in the U.S. last year, but more than 100,000 people are on waiting lists. America is listening to Fox News.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling weather with Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Thinking we will top out at about 55 degrees with a fair amount of sunshine this afternoon. Partly cloudy, 30 tonight. Thursday, partly sunny in the morning, cloudy in the afternoon, 57. Thursday night, a nuisance mix of snow, sleet, freezing, drizzle, and drizzle. Not expecting much. Friday, some light snow with a little bit of sleet, freezing, rain, and rain. 35 on Friday. Friday's stuff should bring an inch or less accumulation. This is 97.1 FM Talk Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Mark Cox Morning Show is here to help St. Louis wake up.
We need every governor, every elected official in this country, every senator, every congressman to stand up and say, no, you're not going to take our freedoms for your political gain.
Weekdays from 5 to 9 a.m.
This is the greatest country in the history of the world. And it is that because people can pursue their dreams. I mean, you're free to live your life.
Helping St. Louis wake up. The Mark Cox Morning Show every weekday morning on 97.1 FM Talk.
Hey, Bulls fans in Illinois, if you want to bet basketball, get in the game with an assist from FanDuel Sportsbook, an official partner of the Chicago Bulls and the NBA. Mobile registration is back, and you can sign up for a FanDuel Sportsbook account from the comfort of your couch. Right now, new customers in Illinois can tip things off with a risk-free first bet up to $1,000. I've loved FanDuel. They have the best odds, daily promotions, quick payouts as well. Just sign up online or with the Sportsbook app. Place your first bet. FanDuel will refund you up to $1,000 in site credit if you don't win. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using the promo code MARK to get started with your risk-free first bet up to $1,000. Again, that's the promo code MARK. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 97.1 FM Talk. 21 plus and present in Illinois. Refer players must wager $10 before 3/13/21 after signing up. Limit 10 referrals. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires after 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The St. Louis real estate market continues to make headlines for home sellers. Selling's easier, but finding your next home can be tricky. Hey, Mark Cox here. For the best real estate advice, get to know my friend and realtor Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. I know everyone knows a realtor. I know several as well, but I only endorse Gloria because of her proven track record. I've seen her systems, I've met her clients, and when it comes to getting you more money, Gloria is the only agent and team I would trust to sell my home. The secret is Gloria already has the buyers. Thousands of buyers who are looking for homes in your area, your price range, and ready to buy today. This is how Gloria creates higher demand, multiple offers, and the most money for you. So take it from me. Call Gloria today at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
How about starting the new year off with a new coat of paint from CertaPro Painters? This is Mark Reardon, and I've trusted the experts at CertaPro for a long time now. They've knocked out project after project over the years, and the quality of the work always blows me away. Imagine what a new coat of paint and a new color can do for your home. It's a great time for your vision of color to come to life. Schedule your free estimate today at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. It's a professional, worry-free process, and they deliver what they promise. CertaPro Painters.
Worried about what you're breathing in? With each breath, allergens, germs, and viruses get trapped in your nose. Now there's a simple, easy, and effective way to clean your nose and protect your health. It's called Navage. Navage. Available at Navage.com.
Odyssey is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Download the Odyssey app today to listen to 97.1 FM Talk, even when you don't have a radio. Always streaming at 971talk.com. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by The Loading Dock, Riverviews, outdoor dining, live music, and overnight accommodations. Visit GraftonLoadingDock.com.
That is...
knows what I'm talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, Beth. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I was in search of something else to talk about, and the New York Post has delivered, and I'm really excited to help you both and myself, maybe, with what I'm about to present to you.
Oh, good.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Please don't change the station during this segment. Maybe you should. Maybe you should change it now. Go listen to KMOX for a little bit. New York Post. Do you have time? Do you have trouble sleeping ever?
Sometimes, yeah. Not with any regularity, but yeah, every now and then.
Not with my sleep apnea mouth guard.
Okay, so like men have, in my mind, not all of them, but it's like a man trait to be able to sit down in a comfy chair and your wife's talking to you and all of a sudden and I'm like, I am talking to you.
I never fall asleep.
I'm not. I'm listening. You're snoring. You were I'm not. I was just resting my eyes. Jared.
Never
This
fall
sounds
asleep
like
when my wife
sounds
is talking.
Does this happen regularly?
We have 4 kids and one of them's a baby. So if you can sleep on demand, that is a superpower.
No, I get it.
I can't.
I've done it. I've done what you're talking about.
To your wife?
Yes, but only on extreme occasions.
Is she mad?
I don't know because I was asleep.
Not mad enough to wake you up, obviously.
That's why there's one day for International Women's Day. The rest is Men Day because you can just sleep on command. And is she mad? I don't know. I was sleeping. It's like the worst.
364 is not enough for what we do for this world, though.
Leap year.
365.
The New York Post has a solution. Now,
All right.
y'all know that I have trouble sleeping. I get comments on our social media all the time or messages saying, Annie, when do you sleep? I don't. That is the problem. 2 nights ago, I was up till about 4. Last night, I was up till about 2. Both days after that, I was up at 7 o'clock, maybe 7:45. If I get up and then I might go back to bed while the kids get ready, but I have to be up to ship Molly off and then I go about my day. So the New York Post, if you have trouble sleeping, I might have a solution for you. I've never tried it, but it's right here on the New York Post and they were right about Hunter Biden. So they're probably right about this. The secret to a good night's sleep is putting ice between your breasts.
Huh.
Didn't see that coming.
I didn't.
Wow.
Now, this is written by men?
No, you want to know what a good night's sleep secret to good night's sleep for me? Putting ice between his breasts so he'd stop snoring, then I can sleep.
I would think that would wake me up.
Hey,
if somebody just
Jared,
put ice
I just
between my
need you
breasts.
to lift your arm up here. I'm just gonna put that right in there. Thank you.
I'm listening. I'm sorry. What were you saying?
Subscribe to the YouTube channel tonight, and if we get to 3,000 before
Oh yeah,
before bedtime,
oh please, at 4 in the morning.
I will video it. I will do that to him after he starts snoring. I will video it, and then I, as a good wife, will have to get his permission to post it. But I will do it.
No, just live stream it.
No,
Just do it.
if you struggle when it comes to getting a good night's sleep, chances are you've tried a few remedies to try and improve the quality of your slumber or the existence of it. But one expert has come up with a unique way to ensure you're having a satisfying snooze, and it involves putting an ice pack between the breasts. Alan Mendel, aka the motivational doc.
It is a guy.
Of course it's a guy. Of course. The guy who can sleep on demand. You're like, honey, I have something real. I went to the doctor. I'm pregnant. Wait, what? Yeah, exactly. Took to TikTok, which is where all great medical advice is discovered, to reveal the unusual hack, explaining that putting something cold on the torso helps activate the vagus nerve. Sounds legit.
Well, I mean, it's on TikTok. What happens in Vegas?
Quote, which helps calm you down. So take an ice pack and put it on your chest. This will de-stress, not distress. This will de-stress your body and send you off to sleep. So if your wife is having trouble sleeping, just, hey, honey.
Hey, don't mind me.
I'm just going to put this. There's going to be some black eyes tomorrow morning.
I'm not sure why I would be talking like that if she was already not asleep. You know?
You can't sneak in that situation.
Hey,
it's gonna.
I know you're trying to sleep. Gonna keep the lights out. Don't mind me. Don't mind the refrigerator. I was just in there. Don't mind this.
I want people to do this and not tell their significant other what they're doing.
Yeah. I saw this on TikTok. Don't worry about it.
I was listening to the Annie Frey show and she told me to do this. What kind of show is that?
They got a lot of really good ideas.
Ice packs, boobs, Darren Bailey, Richard Irvin, there's all sorts of things.
What you just did with that ice pack, I think I'm voting for Pritzker. I don't know what else she talks about, but push me into his camp.
In writing over the top of the video, he explained ice between the breasts puts you to sleep. He also advised wrapping the ice pack in a cloth. Great idea.
Yeah, that'll soften the blow.
To avoid any uncomfortable freeze burns, and use for up to 15 minutes. How are you supposed, if it puts you to sleep, how do you stop using it?
If the point was to put
your spouse wakes you up, so it's been 15 minutes.
Yeah. Isn't your bed going to get pretty wet too? I mean, I guess if it's an ice pack, you can get away with it. But he said torso. That could be literally anywhere.
He said the vagus nerve, which you've never heard of.
What
but
in the world is that?
Google it.
All right, I'm going to look it up.
Don't do an image search, though.
Yeah.
Google. Ice pack, vagus nerve, breasts.
VAGUS.
Yes.
So it's not like Las Vegas. That's what I pictured.
Man,
I don't know.
he's got some vagus nerve about him.
Yeah. You ever seen The Hangover? That dude had some vagus nerve. Is responsible for the regulation of internal organ functions such as digestion, heart rate, and respiratory rate, as well as vasomotor activity and certain reflex actions.
Vasomotor? That sounds like vasectomy.
I don't know. Such as coughing, sneezing, swallowing, and vomiting. That just sounds like a bunch of technical terms. Doesn't get me any closer to understanding the vagus nerve or why you'd put ice on.
That's because you chose to read that random Google search. It's not the internet's fault.
It is the internet's fault. It's the top thing on Google.
This helps my panic attacks and hot flashes 100%, one person wrote. I just started doing this in the last week and it works, another wrote. I have struggled getting to sleep since I was 12. Thank you. End quote. Quote, I love sleeping cold. I hate being hot when I sleep. I'm trying this. Another one. I put an ice pack on my throat when I'm nauseous. Did it 3 nights in a row in all caps. Did not work. So 4 out of 5 recommend.
If it even barely works or has a 25% success rate, you know you're going to see this on late night TV ads real soon. Somebody's going to make it into some sort of product.
It's going to be like something you can put in your freezer and then pull out and like pull on like a vest.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be something you wrap around yourself and it holds it on there because, and it's going to show people struggling to hold. You've heard about the vagus nerve. Oh no, it's all black and white. X crossing through it.
What?
You know, like the failure
I don't know
ones.
that I know.
You always have to start with watching the ones that failed. You tried putting lids on your pots. Oh my gosh, I can't even hold a lid.
I guess a man would have to lay on their back to do this, or on their. How do you sleep?
Curled up like a baby. You think I'm kidding?
No, I don't.
But
I'm pretty sure that's an honest answer.
Last night, my kid crawled into bed with me. He was like, "I'm scared." I'm like, that's fine. He crawled into bed. I looked over and he was sleeping, and I'm like, "Hey, I sleep like that."
like fetal position.
Yeah, all curled up. Keeps me safe from bears.
You sleep on your.
Keeps me safe from bears.
I don't know. Isn't that why they say you curl up? Is like to be safe while you're sleeping.
It's the fetal position.
Yeah,
that's why you curl up.
It's cramped in there. I speak from experience as a baby and as a mother.
I mean, as a person who's been out of the womb for a while, I would probably be inclined to spread out, but apparently I don't. I still am in protective mode.
And you are insulting the scientific first Google search for its scientific information.
Yes, I am. Well, how do you guys sleep?
On my side.
I will sleep. I can sleep on my back or on my side, and I prefer my left side, which I think is a pregnancy thing because your heart on your left side, it's better to sleep on your left.
Is that true? Because I prefer sleeping on my right side, which that's bad. If it's better for your heart to sleep on your left side.
I think your blood flow is better if, like, like if you hurt your ankle, you elevate it above your heart. That's the point. It encourages the blood flow through the body. And as a pregnant woman, and there's so much going on, I mean, the amount of blood that is produced in a pregnant woman's body, I'm going to Google it, but it's like a lot of extra blood that you have to carry in your body. Talk amongst yourself.
It's crazy. The stuff that happens, like your hair just gets so thick and woolly when you're pregnant.
Woolly?
You know what I mean?
No, I don't. Your hair when you're pregnant.
Drag a comb through it anymore. I mean, my wife's hair is like a lion's mane anyway.
Stop talking about your wife.
You're right.
This is where you get in trouble. Blood volume increases significantly within the first few weeks of gestation and increases progressively throughout the pregnancy. The total blood volume increase varies from 20% to 100% above pre-pregnancy levels, usually close to 45%.
That's amazing.
And you can feel, there are times where you can feel your pulse now, but that's like basically any time when you're pregnant. You just feel your body is just doing so much work.
Did you sleep better during pregnancy?
Oh,
or before
hell no.
it,
What?
Or
No.
after? I mean, you said you're still not sleeping, so I thought, well, maybe.
No, but no. Oh my gosh, no. Pregnancy sleep is the freaking worst.
Well, I figured, but I just didn't know if maybe because you don't always sleep anyway, maybe things switched when you were pregnant.
No, everything is worse pregnant.
When did this start for you that you had trouble sleeping?
Well,
Was it
Jared
with
and I
kids?
really loved each other.
When did this start for you? Like, how does a baby come to be made? I don't understand.
The storks. It's the storks. See, when you can't sleep and you're cold,
When a mom and
you get
dad
an ice pack
get
out.
very cold.
It's gonna break.
What's all that all about? I don't understand babies and all that stuff.
You take the ice
I'm
pack.
not a doctor.
And if you don't know where to put the ice pack, you ask your significant other.
What's a vagus nerve?
Why are you talking like that?
I don't know.
What is that?
It's some sort of character, I think.
There's probably something more responsible we'll talk about when we come back. Maybe, maybe not. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie. History looks back on times like this. Where do you stand? 97.1 FM Talk is here to spotlight what would otherwise be left in the dark. Right here, right now. 97.1 FM Talk.
Thomas Helbig and the Retirement Advisory Group having another one of those protecting your retirement educational events. And it is going to be March 22nd. And I'm going to be there. I hope you are also, because I would love to meet you. The event starts at 6:30. I get there at 6 and spend that first half an hour getting to meet folks just like you. And then you get to listen to Thomas Helbig. It doesn't take up the whole night. He's very conscious of your time. And you're going to get to listen to how he can help you shift from accumulation of assets into the place where you get to live off of that retirement that you've sacrificed for. This is the event. You can put this down in your calendar, and you do have to reserve your spot. It's Tuesday, March 22nd at 6:30 p.m. at the Frontenac Hilton. I will be there. Mark Cox will be there. So will Mark Reardon, and we would love to meet you. So the event starts at 6:30. We will be there at 6 o'clock-ish to meet you. So make sure you show up a little bit early. Here's the number to call to reserve your spot. 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. Online at retirementkey.com.
30 years ago, in the Brooklyn neighborhood of Crown Heights, a car accident set off 4 days of unrest. 2 people died, hundreds were arrested. I'm Collier Meyerson, and my new show, Love Thy Neighbor, explores what came to be known as the Crown Heights Riot. It's a story about New York's first Black mayor, the rise of Rudy Giuliani, and the Lubavitch Jewish and Caribbean communities sitting at the center of it all. You can listen to new episodes of Love Thy Neighbor every week wherever you listen, or you can binge the entire series exclusively on Odyssey.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money. Easy to learn, easy to use, small business software tailored just for you. With PatriotSoftware.com, accounting and payroll, keep your time and money.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being with us this Wednesday afternoon. Still have to look at the top of my sheet to figure out what day it is. It's Wednesday. We had Monday off because of the sacred holiday of Kazimierz Pulaski Day. Do Missourians even know? Have they even heard of Pulaski Day?
Probably only because they know Illinoisans. I don't think anybody celebrates it. Do we celebrate it, though?
Nobody celebrates it. No. Kazimierz Pulaski Day was a public school holiday. I always went to Lutheran school, save 1 year of high school. I went to Edwardsville High School my sophomore year. And it was like wonderful to get Pulaski Day off that 1 year. It was my favorite day of the whole year to get that holiday off.
Yeah.
You're just talking about like all of us have things blowing up in our house right now. Our water heater, we didn't have to replace it right now, but the coils in the bottom of the electric water heater that we have hard water. So my husband's had to replace those over the course of time that we've lived in this house. They get corrosion on them and everything, or whatever man stuff happens down there. And so he has to replace them because the hot water would run out so quickly. The coils wouldn't heat the water. So it was happening again. And my husband's like, we just need to replace this. He told me, replace those coils. I don't know how many times. So we called Air Comfort Service. They came out to our house. They looked into putting in a gas one. The basement was plumb for it. So we had to do the water heater thing. That was pricey. My computer bombed out. That was pricey. We're still putting on the deck on our house and it's progressing continuously. Super excited about that. You guys had your dishwasher go out, Brad?
Dishwasher went out the night of the State of the Union. Then I also am getting new tires on my truck, which is pricey. And our dog has to have surgery. So that's pricey.
And then your basement flooded this past weekend.
Sunday night, coming home from soccer practice, that big storm that came through that was just a deluge of rain. You know, how many times have we had rain in the last 8 years that I've had that house? And then all of a sudden, this one became a problem. It started coming in both of our basement windows. No idea why, other than maybe the ground underneath was still frozen and the topsoil wasn't. So it had nowhere to go. So it was just flooding into our house. You can imagine turning a garden hose onto a towel, how fast that towel would fill up. We were filling towel after towel, just trying to hold it off while I was outside digging with my hands for half of it.
Why didn't you get a shovel?
Well, I was digging down into the window well,
Mhm.
so it's hard to get a shovel or a bucket down in that small space. So I had to use either one of those little bitty garden shovels, which didn't get much mud. I could get more with just grabbing my hands down there and throwing it over my shoulder.
Yeah.
And it's raining, it's cold, not a good night.
Was it miserable?
I
I mean,
can tell
in
you.
top 10 miserable moments of your life, not comparative to like the breadth of what was going on, but just in that moment outside in
Yeah.
the storm, and you don't like the one thing, all you're doing is thinking dollar signs.
Yes, exactly. Because
don't
we were
know.
we don't know yet because we were maybe going to lose all the carpet in both of those rooms, maybe lose the walls and the studs if they started to get moldy. I mean, it was an incredible amount of water. And my wife's holding towels up, ended up holding comforters up because we're just running out of towels. We're throwing them in coolers. We don't know where to put them. As I'm walking through all that stuff, you don't know when the rain's going to stop. You're cold, you're miserable. I'm taking buckets one at a time out to the street to dump them, because if I dump them next to the thing, it's just going to run right back in the the window well.
You should have created a moat
In that moment,
with gators.
And a drawbridge.
well, hey, where were you guys Sunday night? I could have used this advice.
I offered to come out in the middle of the night.
No, you did. But
I
that but you
actually
didn't
offered my
tell me
husband.
you didn't tell me that great advice. I could have used a
moat?
moat and some gators. Because I was
And a
calling all
drawbridge.
kinds of people who were basement experts. Not a single one told me that. Can you believe that?
No.
Yeah,
I don't
here's
know how-
worthless people.
I don't know how they could consider themselves basement experts.
I don't
is
either.
exactly like what's going on in the world. Like you're like the stupid phrase, make it make sense, where you're trying to figure out like, why do these people not see that these are problems? And the situation here is that you didn't know what problem you needed to fix.
Yeah.
You needed to ward off the enemy combatants in Collinsville.
That's right.
With gators
Yeah.
and a drawbridge
Yeah.
and water.
Yeah. Annie, what do I do about all this water coming in my basement?
Alligators!
Okay.
Chompers.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I should have called you earlier then, because
I would have told you.
to answer that question about walking back, it was that moment walking
Wouldn't
back
even
and forth
charged you for the phone call.
with the bucket. I was so depressed. I was just, I don't even cuss, and I was just wanting to cuss, just to cuss. Like I don't even know what I'm cussing at. I just want to say, "F the bush" that I'm walking past over and over.
Stupid.
Here's what I think: you
dirt,
dumb bush.
Stupid hole. Yeah,
You
totally.
landscaping. I hate you.
Bush is sitting there like, hey, oh.
Hey, come on, bro.
Is that how you talk? I think
What the
that's
bush do to you, bro?
I think that's cultural appropriation. I think you're wrong for that.
I don't know. I don't know what culture that is. Is that like New York bro culture, right? Come on, brother. Isn't that?
I have
New York.
I have nothing to do with what you're doing right now.
Well, my bush.
I too have a gator.
Never mind. This is taking
It would
a turn.
be easier if you would commit to the normal sentence instead of bailing in the middle of the inappropriate one. Go on.
No, I don't know. I don't know what culture my
No, don't go back to the
shrub
culture
is.
thing.
I
Don't go
will
back
say.
to that. Talk about We want to talk about anything. Anything. We, like you, are delirious. And the world is on fire, and it's like we know it, and we need moats. We all need moats.
In that moment, though, you do start to go, what's important? I mean, not to make this deep, but you start to go, okay, it is important that my family has a house and that my walls aren't falling down and there's water everywhere. However, I've got it pretty good. When it was all said and done, especially because it ended up being probably best case scenario, all that work we did, holding towels up for hours and hours and digging with our hands and all this stuff, it actually worked. We had a mitigation team come in and they said, well, there's not actually that much water down here. We're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. 5 hours of overnight work in the yard, and we actually did it. Incredible. And my bush is fine too.
Yeah, sure. Brad, you should say something.
Yeah.
Anything.
I don't know what I could say after that. Like, and
Come
I'm
on,
very
bro, what
rarely
did I
at a
do?
loss for words.
Brad
but-
is actually looking
Ryan.
down at the board for the first time, just very curious about the buttons that are in front of him.
What's this one?
And
do?
he's got his one finger up and he's just scratching the top of his eyebrow, which is really raised You can tell he's like, yo, good luck, Annie.
I'm looking at you.
Glad this is your show.
I'm looking at the YouTube, at the Annie Frey YouTube channel.
This is the most risque the Annie Frey YouTube channel chat has ever been.
I know, and it's,
I don't know if this is your cup of tea. If it's not, don't go there. Don't do it. But there are people talking about things in the YouTube chat right now that I feel at least partially responsible for ushering into the conversation. And yeah. Lost and Found on the Annie Frey YouTube channel says, Annie, what is the hardest part about interviewing political candidates? How do you balance being critical versus accommodating the partisan makeup of your audience? A couple of things there. I do very much so acknowledge that we have people who listen to the show from both sides of the aisle, because I hear from a lot of people who say, Annie, I don't agree with anything you say, but I like that I can listen in and enjoy the conversation without it being too polarizing or frankly, in some cases, mean. A lot of people in talk radio on both sides of the aisle get really wrapped up in, cutesy name calling and just being very insulting to the other side. And I don't like that. It doesn't mean that I don't have, frustrated and angry feelings towards people who I feel like are trying to destroy our country or are destroying our country, but it's just not my method. So I do care about the fact that when I have somebody in here, I am talking to people who want information. You ask what's the hardest part about interviewing political candidates and how I balance being critical versus accommodating. If I have a political candidate in here, or on the show just as an interview, I want to give you the information that you need to make up your own mind. So if I'm going to have a candidate in here who wants to run for Illinois governor or Missouri Senate or, whatever the seat may be, I think it's important that I ask questions that you may want answers to with the knowledge that this isn't going to be the only place that you're going to get information from. And I know that there are people who probably, if I were to say, I endorse Brad Range for Illinois governor, they'd say, Annie said, vote Brad. That's what I'm going to do. I don't want to do that for you. I want to expose you to people, and I want you to be able to listen to the show and get information. And then I very much so firmly believe in your ability to make that decision for yourself. So I'm trying to think of a time in a primary where I've specifically endorsed one candidate over another, and I don't know that I ever have, or have really been in a position to do it before. And I don't know that I'm going to do it this time either. I think it's very important to remember that you are a big kid, you're a grown-up, and that you can hear things and say, I totally believe that, or I don't buy that at all. And it's not my job to have somebody come in here and to make them look like a villain or to make them look like a hero. That's not everybody's perspective or take. That's mine. So hopefully that helps. If that doesn't, there are going to be other places. There are going to be other kinds of interviews.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the primary is the hard part because as we're talking about Illinois governor a lot, we're also on 97.1 in general talking about the Senate primary in Missouri a lot. This is the part where there's a lot of infighting, a lot of parsing between the candidates. What do they believe about particular issues that are important to me or that I think are important for winning in general? And then it gets easy. After the primary, it becomes very, very clear who to pick. So yeah, this is a lot of times there's a very clear front runner in races like this. And in both of these, there's not. And so it makes it a little more difficult, but it's fun.
I think in the Illinois governor race, the Republican primary, what's so compelling to me is that there are so many good Republican candidates that I feel, for the Illinois Senate seat, we've had Tammy Duckworth is up this election. Dick Durbin was up last election. I know Peggy Hubbard is running for that seat. She's run previously before. I think we've reached out to her in the past. She's not reached out to us specifically to come on the show to talk about her Senate race. But, to stage a statewide campaign that gets people behind it. From the Senate side, we haven't had a field of Republican candidates who Mark Curran he ran last time and he's the one who won that primary. We had him on after he won the primary, but I bet if you asked 100 people in the state of Illinois who was the Republican candidate who ran against Dick Durbin, I bet you 100 of them would not be able to name Mark Curran.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting that you're talking about even the Illinois Senate seat, because I was referring more to the Missouri seat just because there's so much activity on it too. But you're right. I mean, Illinois has the same issue.
Well, the thing that I'm comparing the two, I think people know more what's going on in the Missouri one, because the seat is, Missouri has been purple at the most competitive it is. I would call it a very red state. It's a very Trump state. Illinois is as blue gets. And there are so many good candidates for governor right now on the Illinois side of the primary that people are kind of like, wow, we don't really know how to do this. We don't really know how to venture into this with Bruce Rauner's campaign, who he won. I remember that was very exciting for Bruce Rauner to win that election. And he won, I think he won 99 out of 102 counties, maybe. Didn't win Cook, and maybe didn't win one of the Quad Cities. Might have been St. Clair. It was very exciting to know that it was possible for Illinois to have a Republican governor. Is he the most Republican governor that exists? He's very far not the most Republican governor that exists. But looking at the candidates that we have the opportunity to vote for in the primary right now, we have a lot of good options. And I'm going to bring people in here because I want them all to continue to come in here and speak to you. It's not about me. It's not about them coming in and speaking to me and me cultivating a personal buddy-buddy relationship with any of these candidates. I have questions to ask. The questions that I ask of these candidates are ones that I think that you want the answers to, and I will ask them, whether they're hard questions or not. They will always, in my opinion, my intent will always for them to be fair questions.
And this is an important primary, probably more so than most, too, because in 2014, when Rauner won, that was a good year for Republicans, but that wasn't a high watermark for Republicans. What we're talking about in 2022 actually could be
massive,
really big across the board. And that means that whoever comes out of that primary has a very good chance of winning.
Brian on YouTube says maybe God was speaking to Wiggins through the bush, but with a more urban, modern voice.
You know what, Brian? I'm not really sure what voice that is. So
you're the one who cultivated it.
I don't know that it was God, is my point. If I'm cultivating the voice, I'm not going to attribute that to anybody.
If the Lord can speak to Moses in a bush, who are you to determine the dialect with which he speaks?
Well, I think that's what I'm saying, is that the bush didn't really talk to me that well. I was more projecting my voice upon the bush.
You're like Sven and Kristoff in Frozen.
Yes. Great comparison.
It's exactly like that. Welcome to my life. I have a lot of kids. Let's take a quick break. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
Big Island Dr. Buzz Hollander. A lot of viruses, and especially COVID, can affect cognition, and that's a serious concern. I feel like it's adding fuel to the paranoia that some people are really dealing with.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Lakeside Renovation and Design, where you go with confidence to have that home project done. The renovation to your kitchen, to your master bath, having the master bathroom you've always dreamt about, or the exterior renovations. When the weather starts to warm up, you're spending more time outside. You see that James Hardy siding, the transformation that it could make on your home. Maybe the neighbors had it or someone down the street, and you know that that's what you need for your home. Lakeside Renovation and Design, they're the place to go because they're going to do the project right. That's why Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass Windows are exclusive to Lakeside Renovation and Design. If you are looking to replace those drafty windows and you notice how the cool air on a day like today is seeping into the broken seals, you need to call Lakeside to talk about the project with them because you're going to get the very best in those Infinity from Marvin Fiberglass windows, plus 0% financing options that they can walk you through. If you want to learn more, anything you need to know, go online to lakesidrenovationanddesign.com.
You want to retire soon, but everyone keeps telling you to wait until you're 65. After all, that's the age that you qualify for Medicare and you're close to full retirement age. I'm Marvin Mitchell, president of Compass Retirement Solutions. In my new book, Retire Early, The 9 Critical Decisions When Retiring Before 65, I discuss proper planning to help make early retirement possible. When to take Social Security, what to do with your 401k, healthcare, how to maximize retirement income, and much more. Get a complimentary copy of Retire Early by calling 1-800-743-8510. That's 1-800-743-8510. Can you retire early? Call 1-800-743-8510 for your copy of Retire Early, the 9 critical decisions when retiring before 65.
Investments and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois. Compass Retirement Solutions is not affiliated with the U.S. government or any governmental agency.
Looking to sell your house without all the hassle and pricey repair costs? Great! Because Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis loves buying fix-up homes in any condition, as is, no fees and no commissions. Call 314-782-8000, and Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis will give you a cash offer right now. No strings attached. We buy inherited houses, divorce houses, trashed houses, even those my tenant won't pay rent houses. Call Chris at 314-782-8000 and find out how easy it is to work with us. That's 314-782-8000. Do you think your home will be difficult to sell? Easy. Our team will provide you with personal guidance through our short and simple process to turn your house into a pile of gold. Just call Chris at 314-782-8000. 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And let Chris worry about everything.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Get your HVAC system ready for warmer weather with a cooling system check included with all maintenance plans from Air Comfort Service. Maintenance plans start at $15 per month. For details and to get in your comfort zone, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Back in the car and back on the road. We're with you. Dependable traffic with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. This is the Annie Frey Show.
Make you wanna holler, howdy-ho.
Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
Chug-a-look, chug-a-look. Grape wine in a mason jar, homemade and brought to school by a friend of mine after class. Me and him and this other fool decide that we'll drink up.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show, just in case you didn't know you were.
This song about kids learning to drink?
I don't know what the age is. Who knows what our parents were doing?
Yeah, this is our
time.
great grandparents, I think.
Do either of you ever listen to Sirius Radio?
Not other than the Beatles channel. If I'm in a rental, that's the only one I'll ever listen to.
Willie's Roadhouse is something that finds its way onto our radio from time to time. And we'll be driving down the road and that will come on. And I just like stare at my radio the whole time, like, where is this coming from?
It's all that genre?
This? It's like Willie Nelson.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, like 60s, 70s country, maybe even before.
I don't really know.
Yeah,
I said, my
when that
question
song
is,
was written.
and I stare at the radio like, Jared, do you know this? He's like, yeah, this is it's a classic.
Oh, he does know. Okay.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yes. Jared comes from a family that could sit and watch Westerns all day long.
I'll admit, Brad, I hope I'm not offending you when I say this. I do not get that. I don't get Westerns at all.
I am offended.
Why would
Well, I don't know. I just thought Brad might be a big Western
Draw!
guy for some reason. I don't know. I don't know why. I just thought you might be.
For the folks at home, Brad's showing facial expressions that make me think he feels judged.
I do. I feel judged.
Specifically TV shows.
Stop for a second. Brad, would you rather be assumed to be someone who would watch Westerns or not watch Westerns?
I'd rather be assumed to not watch Westerns.
Really?
Yeah, I would have thought you'd embrace that.
No.
Seems like super masculine to me to want to
Right.
watch Westerns, which is why I get that Ryan doesn't.
Well, I'll admit there's some good. That's a good
Oh,
point.
man.
No, she's actually right on that.
Do you need an ice pack, Ryan?
I wouldn't. Where do you want to put it?
Right here. Right on
In
the
his
old
cleavage.
Vegas.
Yeah. Rewind the show, folks. If you don't
You
know,
don't know
what
what
we're
that
talking
was.
about, if you know, you know. If you don't, you weren't
You
listening
don't.
earlier.
No, there's some really good Western movies. I'll say that. Clint Eastwood has some good movies, and John Wayne has some good movies. But beyond a handful,
That is such a non-Western watcher thing to
exactly,
say.
exactly.
Let's see here. Cowboys. Clint Eastwood.
I think it's a generational thing. I really
John
do.
Wayne.
Because my dad, he
Sam
wasn't really
Elliott.
into Westerns either, but he knew them and he
It's
kind of
generational.
liked them. And there was a Western TV show era that if you watch those now, you're like, this is atrocious. I cannot watch this.
You know what's weird about that is I really enjoyed like The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, which are very heavily Western.
Those
influenced,
are space Westerns,
but they're
though.
space Westerns.
Nerds.
It's weird. It's weird that I like those, but I don't like.
No, I agree.
You know,
that's what Star Trek was supposed to be. That's how it was built. A space Western.
Not even close.
And it wasn't close. No.
Spestern.
Yep.
I can't watch Westerns. And I my father-in-law, who might be listening right now, is he texting me yet? No.
You're not masculine enough.
Pretty much.
Okay.
I mean, do what you do. No, it's like instant nap for me. Oh, that's what I need to do. Turn on Westerns at
Turn on
night.
Westerns.
And then
Oh.
my husband would stay up all night and watch them. This is a perfect plan.
Here's a good one from childhood. See if I'm hitting anybody else here. The minute Saturday morning cartoons were off, fishing shows come on.
Mm-hmm. Snoozer.
Somebody put me to sleep.
My husband is fully invested in television with too much facial hair and not enough electricity. It's what he watches. And I can't handle it. And
That's a genre.
I have told him that this sounds okay. It is what it is. I will allow him to watch those shows in my presence because there is an agreement that has to be made on what's on the television, you know, on a Saturday afternoon or something. He can watch those shows, but after the EMP hits, I want credit for letting him watch those shows so he can do those things because I'm not doing those things. But if I'm okay with it now, I'm putting that in the bank and I will withdraw it later when it is useful to our survival. But right now, I'm going to push a button and the fireplace is going to come on and I'm going to sit under a very comfy weighted blanket and take a nap
Okay.
in a comfy chair.
EMP hits.
Mhm.
You staying in your house, trying to survive where you're at, or you leaving, you going somewhere else?
I'm not telling you.
I want to know where you're going because I want to go there.
Yeah, oh boy.
Because you've thought this through better than I have.
Going to Brad's.
Okay.
I
No,
won't
I have
be
a plan. Huh?
I won't be there.
That's why I'm going to your house.
Does everybody have a friend who lives on a farm that they go, just in case?
I don't think you talk
I'm gonna
about
go to
it.
that
I think you
guy.
kind of have to show up
Yeah.
with something to offer, which is a repetitive conversation on this show. What do you have to offer when the electricity goes out? And I am worthless. I am very good at many things that require something to be plugged in. What I'm doing right now, toast. My whole profession, gone. Maybe I'll write newspapers and hand them out to 7 people.
Yeah.
Like, what am I going to do?
You'll be in charge of the newsletter that goes around to the 2 families that you're with.
Yeah, that people put in their trash can on their way into their house when they get the bills in the mail.
You and I, so if you're at one farm and I'm at another farm, I think we're probably going to end up doing pretty much the same thing.
War?
What?
Battle each other? Like the Hatfields, the McCoys, and the Hatfields?
Yeah.
Hatfields and McCoys.
We're going to
is
be
that
telling our clans
Wiggins
that the anti-Fry clan is the problem, and you're going to be doing the opposite.
Yeah.
And we're going to be girding up for war for sure. We're going to not eat our plowshares into our swords into plowshares. We're going to make them swords.
Don't know what you're talking about, but Jared probably does. And again, that's where I will withdraw that credit at a
Brad
later date.
knows. Brad knows.
I need him to sign something. I need it like in print.
You just need him to sign the
Yeah,
bills?
it can't be digital.
No, I need it in print that I can get credit for allowing all of this horrible television in our house so that when we need to use all of that information that he's putting in his head that I cannot stand, that my time served now is valued then.
What are his skills?
He's very skilled.
Do you guys have a food supply?
We are prepared
Okay.
in multiple locations.
Wow. No
Mhm.
kidding.
Yeah.
You guys have like dug holes and stuck food in them somewhere?
I'm not talking about what we've done.
Where's the hole? I mean,
it's at Brad's house.
Ryan's going to be a bandit.
Man, there's a whole promo you could put together from this show.
It is filthy. Very suggestive.
Please don't. I know this is your job, but
I will
please
not.
don't.
I will not.
As a matter of fact, just delete the show. There's no podcast today. We've talked about some things. We've seen some things. We've been some places. We're gonna block that out. Blackout moment.
I will say this. My wife really likes the idea of having food in the basement somewhere, like in a tub full of canned goods or whatever. But the closer we get to, you put them in there and about a year goes by and you go, man, this stuff's going to expire. I just start using it.
We'll start using it and replenish it.
Yeah, that's how you do it. You buy the new stuff and put it at the back, and you take the old stuff from the front.
That is quite a system. Because what I end up realizing is
prepping is work.
You know what?
That sounds like a lot of work. I'm not into it.
I'd rather starve.
You know who's at Brad's house knocking on the door? I'm hungry.
Yeah, me.
Yeah,
and all my kids.
Yeah.
And they're going to have all these frowny faces. And we'll be like, play it up, you kids. Brad's a nice guy.
I'll feed your children.
And I won't be there.
As long as you guys will feed the kids, I can go out and get some berries or something.
Go back to that bush. Hey, remember me?
Sorry about those harsh words.
Yeah. Hey,
if I could do the accent or whatever it was you did before, I would go off on a whole thing.
What it was.
But I feel like I would be in trouble.
I don't know what it was.
Nobody does. That's the problem.
That is the problem. As I replenish the tub in the basement that's full of stuff and I end up putting it in the cupboard, I realize, you know what my prepper area is just the cupboard.
More pantry.
Yeah. So I don't know why we wouldn't just use what we have on our little tourney round table thing and in the cupboard.
Cupboard tourney round table thing.
You know what I'm talking about?
Did you read the Indian in the cupboard?
Are you talking about the lazy Susan?
Yes, the lazy old Susan.
Why she got to be lazy?
I don't know.
Why isn't it not a lazy Steve?
If a Susan does not work, she shall not eat. And so I'm like, Susie, get up.
Can you please start calling it a lazy Steve?
No, I cannot.
You know, it's 2022. It's International Women's Month. For the month of March, that's a lazy Steve.
Lazy Steve.
Hey, it's 254. You can donate your car to Goodwill and get 2022 Cardinals tickets at MERSGoodwill.org. Use promo code Cardinals. 254. It's 255 now.
Good job. That was very good.
It should have been better.
Have you guys talked
but I did it
a little about the I don't want to say them because they're all rumors about MLB maybe getting close. Have you heard this?
I saw last night in my lack of sleep. People are kindly, Mark being one of them, saying that they're worried about my sleep habits. So am I. I don't have anything good to say about that, but I did see late last night that they were going on hour 15 of negotiations, and I don't know where that ended.
I've just heard a couple people say around the office today that they've heard.
Man, there are people in this building that are invested in Cardinal baseball starting. We need baseball.
Yes, and they're saying they're very, very close, but they're worried that if it doesn't happen within the next 24 hours, that it ain't going to happen, period. Like there's going to be no season. So
really,
that's what I've heard.
They cannot
No way.
afford.
I'm not attributing that to anybody because it is people who are in the know.
That's just because we work with KMOX and they cannot have that happen, and it will feel like that. I'm hoping
too.
We'll get an update. Yeah, we'll get a baseball update tomorrow. Let's make that happen. Or if they're still deliberating, we'll just have somebody cover it the moment. The moment there's news, we will cover it here.
Yep.
Because we're 97.1 Talk. FM Talk. What are we? We used to be News Talk, but we don't do that anymore. We can talk about whatever we want now.
Talk.
Now we just talk about the FM.
That's right. We don't have to do news because they drop news from the title.
Yeah, exactly. Thanks for listening today. We appreciate you. A reminder, asking you to subscribe to the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Just go there, hit subscribe. You can hit notifications, get a notification when we go live. And that Odyssey app, you can find the Annie Frey Show podcast there in case you missed anything we talked about today. And if you're listening on the Odyssey app right now, the Mark Reardon Show comes up next, just like 97.1 FM Talk. Don't go away.
When Richard Irving decided to take on Pritzker for governor, he wasn't following a whim. He was answering a long familiar call to duty.